This is a big week full of big time comics. The big two did not disappoint. Quite frankly, neither did the indies. I'm sure all of our stacks are filled to the brim this week, and we picked out the cream of the crop, so to speak. We've got
Count them.
six of this week's biggest comic book releases. Batman number 159, Hush 2 Part 2. Absolute Martian Manhunter number 2. Absolute Wonder Woman number 7. The Amazing Spider-Man number 2. One World Under Doom number 3. And Bug Wars number 3. How did that make the show? We'll talk about that later on. But we have some pals on deck. We've got Cale,
What's up, hot dogs?
Tyler,
What's up, hot dog? No, damn it, I don't have a catchphrase still.
There you go.
the pause that I left was for Marco. He's not with us,
R.I.P.
unfortunately. But I'm Sean. So, good for that. Thank you for being here, whether
that.
you are live or in the future. Smash the like button.
Smash it.
Hayden's Hideout kicking us off early with the $5 super chat says his pick of the week is Green Arrow number 23, and his Gooner pick of the week is Batman number 159, the David Nakayama variant. I'm going to have to take a look and see what that's looking like. Honestly, it was a light week for the Gooners, but I love big, fluffy haired Ivy. Oh, I did see that one. Yeah, that was a pretty good cover, actually. All right. Let's jump right into things with Batman number 159. I know everybody is dying to talk about this book. Maybe not for the best reasons, but you know what? They tried. Jeff Loeb on the words, Jim Lee on the pencil, Scott Williams on the inks, colors by Alex Sinclair, letters by Richard Starkings. And so the mystery continues to unfold. It seemed pretty straightforward in issue one. Okay, Hush is doing Hush stuff. It feels very much like we went backwards 20 years to go forward, so to speak, in the sense that, this is a furthering of the Hush saga, if you will, but it definitely feels more like it took place back then when Hush originally came out than now. This one, though, sees Batman take the Joker's body, who was near death, to Leslie Tompkins, who's going to help presumably revive the Joker not before he is confronted by the Red Hood, who is still mad about the fact that he was killed by the Joker and that Batman let the Joker live. And now it appears that the Red Hood is working with Hush, which is a turn I didn't exactly see coming. Cale, I can only imagine how hot you were on this issue.
Oh, good. Um, so you mean ice cold? Yeah.
Yes.
I man, there is no the opposite of heat from anything in this book. Um, the page I have open is just look. I'm sorry, the ridiculous Riddler full page spread, and I just like I this feels emblematic to me of like where we're at. It's just like this costume that looks so hard, like it's trying to not be something out of 1995, uh, surrounded by history, you know, very clearly like character history that's grown over the past 30 years, right? I just, man, the voice in this for Batman is ancient. It I to be honest, even the Lee stuff, man, just doesn't feel good. Like it just doesn't. I don't even um it's cool to see Leslie Tompkins in a book in this the year of our Lord 2025. I think I've always thought she's a great character. Um I don't know what's happened with the Red Hood in the past 15 years. I'm pretty sure he's been over this for a while. Um, it is cool that the bat emblem on his chest, the way the hood comes up and it makes a hood. That's kind of cool. That's a neat thing that Jim Lee did. Um,
You're
I don't
really
know, man.
working.
I don't know, man. This book ain't doing it. This book ain't doing it.
Yeah. Uh, why did Batman use a gun?
You know what? I didn't even have a problem with that.
Like right off the jump, it's like that is just so. This feels more like a sequel to All Star Batman and Robin than it feels like a sequel to Hush. um, this guy, I really don't know what to say about this. It's tough because yes, it's Jim Lee, one of the goats. That's what they say now, right? Greatest of all time. Some would argue. I will add that addendum there. Um, does it look good? A couple panels do. I think the panel where Batman is flashing back and he sees like this red version of all the bad things the Joker did, and it was done in this like painterly style. I was like, oh, cool. Jim Lee tried something different, and I kind of enjoyed that. But if we're talking 3 panels out of a whole issue, that's not a good. He's not batting 1,000. That's for sure. Um, yeah, it's such a nothing story. We've told this story before. Red Hood, even Batman mentioned it. He's like, I thought me and Jason got over this. Yeah, you did. That's why this feels wrong. And I'm not gonna take, oh, Hush is manipulating things. This is what's new. He's not even in the book. Hush 2, we don't even have one Hush in this. Like, I don't know. It's so not my thing. I was looking at, because I had to come up with the titles of the YouTube before sometimes I read the book. So I went through League of Comic Geeks and looked at a couple of reviews of this real quick, just to kind of get a general idea of what the issue was about, because the solicit was a little obtuse. And one of the comments just said, "Matt Fraction, please save us." And that's kind of where I am with this.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. This was my pick of the week.
Get out of here.
Hold on.
No, I'm just fucking with you.
Okay, good. Good. There was no way. There's no way.
This was, look, I don't understand this version of Jeff Loeb, because the Long Halloween, Last Halloween is really good, and I stand on that. I truly believe that book is really good. I can't connect this writing to that person. This is bugged out. Like, look, Batman uses a gun. He shoots a gun in this book. And it's all right, yeah, he wasn't aiming at Jason. But still, I don't think that this situation even warranted, like, if there's a moment in time in a story where the conflict has risen to the point where Batman does something incredibly out of character, incredibly drastic, fine. This isn't that. This is issue 2. Nothing has happened. Why is he pulling guns out already? Nothing happened. He has 50,000 batarangs. He has a T-Rex in that motherfucking Batcave. There's all manner of things he could have done that do not involve guns.
To defend the Joker, mind you.
Right. Who killed the guy that's fighting you right now?
Among other things.
What the fuck?
Like, it's like I just feel like the Batman that I know, that was raised by Jeff Loeb, right? Like, that's my Batman. I even feel like that Batman would be like, you know what? I'm walking a line here. I feel like I can let Jason have him. Like, I like I just they've been through a lot together, but I feel like there's enough trust between them where Batman can go, look, for the safety of this dude right now, I think I can let him go. I just it's this feels so disconnected from literally anything that's happened in the past, again, 30 years. I
Totally.
just I don't
Let's
it's yeah, please.
let's have a read along. This is from Batman's inner monologue as he is fighting the Red Hood. His voice is muffled by that mask. I have to know for certain. Tommy has brought out this piece on the board before. This feels different. This time, my attacker moves exactly like the real one would. The hard charge right at me, like a rook in chess, forward and back. Need the unanticipated. Now he grabs a gun off the ground, picks it up. The next panel, for this, first of all, this panel says 5 seconds. The next panel, he has already shot the gun. He didn't even have the gun in the prior panel. The next panel says 4 seconds. He has now shot the gun. And the caption reads, the fastest, most effective way as he shoots Red Hood, Jason Todd, former Robin, in the face. What?
He just gonna what has he justified? He's like, I'm just gonna crease him real quick.
Crease him? What is it? What type of slang is that? What does that mean?
I was wondering that too. Man. Here's one thing. The shot of Jason when we first see him out of the mask and it's cracked open, and he has his gray slutty hair hanging out. That was rad. I thought that was a cool look to Red Hood and Jason Todd, almost like a half mask, broken Red Hood thing.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. That is the highest
Power
praise I
Rangers.
can give this book.
That broken Power Rangers stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool.
And I amend my prior comment, chat. Batman definitely was aiming for that man's face. My apologies. Um, I will say though, I did not hate this. I actually enjoyed aspects of it. It's just that, and I'll talk about those in a moment, but it's just that some of this stuff is hard to swallow. I don't even necessarily mind as much that it feels more like an immediate direct sequel to Hush than it does feel like it's coming after Chip's run. All right, fine. These guys are old. They're not keeping up with continuity. Okay, I can live with that. And I also I liked Leslie Tompkins, like Cale brought up. I thought that was cool. I like putting Batman in an awkward situation where he now has to defend his worst enemy, and then he sees an opportunity when he has the Joker all to himself to kind of analyze him and like, what is this guy? What makes this guy tick? What is he made of? That feels very Batman to me. I'm in on that. And again, the art. I think the art is stellar. This page right here of Batman just having himself a think. I thought this looked really great. That's the praise. What's not praiseworthy is just about everything else. And this, least of all. This Riddler right here. What is this abomination?
He got that absolute Batman pose down.
It looks like some wannabe Cable shit.
Yeah. Look at the tattoo. What?
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
What?
Yep.
Who would do that?
The Riddler, apparently.
A lot of people make weird tattoo decisions, so that's not expected.
Okay, yeah. Okay, Mike Tyson, right? Borderline, not that bright guy, right? Fighter, right? Not known for intelligence. The Riddler, super genius. One has a fucking crazy tiger tattoo. The other should not have a fucking question mark tattooed on their face.
I say when
Mark.
when you start playing on complete extremes of the spectrum, it loops right back around. So I get it.
Wow. Wow. Look, if I were not on the show and it was just me, I would buy this straight through. I don't care that it's not too good. I really love looking at Jim Lee's art, and I don't know. I just like this. Like it's not good, but I like it.
Can I just say one thing? After all I said, I don't think this is good. I kind of enjoyed reading it though. Does that make sense?
That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah, it feel like I feel like by the time I was done with it, it was stuck in my teeth. It kind of hurt, but it tasted like candy. It's like when you get a Jolly Rancher. It's fucking delicious. It's bad for you. It's not good. It's gonna get stuck in your teeth. It might hurt a bit. It's candy. This is candy comics. I don't expect this to be mind blowing, and I never did. And I think that's okay. It's like the MCU for comics.
I'm a pull.
I'm a pass. I hope we never have to read this again.
Well, we don't read the same issue over. We'll just read the next one.
Oh, that'll solve it.
Oh, man, that's a tough one. My brain says no. My brain says pass. But my loins say pull, so I'm going to go with pull.
Why are your loins involved?
What?
Because my gut's a little fucked up right now. I can't think of my gut.
You know, the funny thing is that the poll, well, I'm ending the poll, and the poll, I mean, look, 41% of you say pull, all right?
Wow.
34% say pass, and 23% say didn't buy or read. So put that together, and you've got 57% of you saying this is a no-go because you didn't buy it or because, you pass on it. 41% saying pull, though. That's, for the quality of this, that's kind of high.
That's not nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Roboter says, Cale, I promise I'm not trying to make you suffer. And I think that's what this series is gonna be.
Well, just before that, he said Hush 2 is going to be talked about for years and years, and then years later will be looked upon fondly. You know
I don't
what?
think so.
I'm not a prejudger. This isn't over. But if we only had these two issues to go by quality wise, if we can expect this exact same level of quality throughout, I have a very tough time believing that. Because I don't think All Star Superman has come around, or excuse me, All Star Batman.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
did it ever finish?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question.
Mhm.
Dan says too, the original Hush was it's not good, but I enjoyed it anyway. I'm not interested in a lesser version of that. When I started Batman, Hush was gold to me. Um, this is not it. This is not that. And admittedly, I look on Hush with rose-colored glasses often. This don't feel like that.
It's been a while since I read Hush, Cale,
Been a
or
while.
Sean. Thanks. To refresh my memory, but isn't it kind of like a tour through all of Batman's rogues gallery so Jim Lee could draw them at a certain
Yeah.
point? Is this book going to be that for his family?
Well, I mean, all the families in Hush as well.
True.
So
Unless Jim Lee really wants to draw Duke.
I
listen,
don't think he does. I don't think he does. Wow, 3620 says bought Batman Hush 2 for the Jim Lee art and the Jeff Loeb Last Halloween for the writing. Yeah. I'm on board with that. I mean, look, I think that book, The Last Halloween, is way better than this. But I'm not gonna lie. When I finished reading this, I wasn't thinking, holy shit, that was dreadful. I was thinking, wow, that borderline made no sense. And I hate what they did with Batman using the gun, But boy, am I not! I am definitely looking forward to the next one of this.
The dumbest little detail is Red Hood's gun has just RH and like just
Yeah.
scratched into it,
Why
like
not?
it's his underwear that his parents had to put his initials on.
Why not? Riddler has a tattoo of a question mark on his face.
I might get that
Yeah.
one for the next issue.
Well, remember in Chip's run, just a scant few issues ago, Batman lobotomized him. So that's probably exactly what it was.
Oh, never mind that. Never mind that. Don't worry about that.
Didn't I mean he technically did the same on a biological level to Jason Todd too, right?
Don't worry about that. That was in
I,
somebody else's run.
That's what I was talking about.
oh, they're talking about Riddler, who was also like lobotomized in the run
Yeah,
too.
Oh no, the other, yeah,
it happened to them both.
Yeah,
yeah,
so
it
they
did.
both got beef.
You're right.
I like to see that Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb are keeping to the canon.
But see how easy it would have been to, at least with Red Hood, to say, hey, part of this anger or whatever is coming from what was done to him during Chip's run. Like that he doesn't trust Batman as a result, or something,
You're
just anything.
that would be under the assumption that Jeff or Jim even read that run.
Are there
Like,
editors that are working here? Like,
yeah,
can we?
To say no to
editor
your
notes,
boss?
like
It's not to Jim, it's to Jeff. Jeff wrote the damn thing. Just let him know. Hey, could you slip this in? Could you slip it in?
here's a little character motivation for you.
Yeah, to enhance it. Who's gonna say no to that?
You know what's better than character motivation, Cal? Cool guns.
Why can't we have
Shit,
both?
I can't argue with that.
Why can't we have both? Oh well. Oh well. It's still fun, at least to me. I'm having a fun time. Mr. Funiverse says there is no comic artist so amazing as to save bad writing. I think that's a personal thing, quite frankly. Because I would agree with you, but there are other people who say that the art is more important and they'll overlook an issue of writing that they're not so hot on.
Yeah, I think it's super dependent on whatever the book is for me.
I mean, I can look at this and go, "Wow, that's great art." I'm not gonna keep going. I'll wait till the next great art.
I mean, the next art is Jimenez again. So,
Oh, great!
yeah.
Oh, you're telling me somebody I like better?
Joe said Batman using a gun is just as dumb as absolute Batman punting a kid. I don't know if I agree with that because that's a completely different universe. And so
Completely different kind of dumb.
well, we don't really, we shouldn't have the preconceived notions of what that Batman will or won't do,
Mm.
relating it to mainline Batman. All right. We've gotten things off to a rousing start today. Is Batman the worst book that we will talk about today? That's a question that can only be answered as we keep the reviews rolling. But I am interested in whether or not any of us are colder on any of the books that we're going to be reviewing here a little later, colder than we were on Batman. Now, as you guys know, as you should know, we are live every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern for this show that you are currently listening to, and Saturdays at 10:15 a.m. Eastern for the main show. We've got a lot of fun stuff coming with that. And then, of course, on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, that's Tuesday the 29th, book club time. JSA, have you guys started your reads?
Yeah, I got my compendium.
Nice.
A little unwieldy, but it is what it is.
That's 25 issues. That's not nothing.
I started my read and I have a lot of thoughts already. I cannot wait to share them with you guys. That's the book that our patrons chose to represent Jeff Johns month. So very much looking forward to that. Let's dive into our next book, shall we? let's do a little palate cleanser, if you will. Let's talk
Palate
about
cleanser.
let's talk about Martian Manhunter, Absolute Martian Manhunter #2. It's written by Dennis Camp with art by Javier Rodriguez, who did the colors as well. Letters by Hassan Atzman El How. So if you look at this cover, it looks like a Martian and a man taking a road trip. This cover is not lying to you. This happens in the book.
Okay.
I love covers that tell you the truth. This issue features Martian Manhunter, well, uh, John and the Martian stopping a crime. They're stopping essentially a terrorist attack. But everything that happens between when we first learn of the terrorists on the first page and when the situation is resolved much later on is the meat of this thing. And all it is John walking to his destination, pretty much.
Mm.
But so much happens within that makes this, I'm sure Tyler's going to say it, a phenomenal comic.
Yeah, it's my pick of the week. This
Likewise.
this this was my pick of the week, pretty much hands down.
of
I
the week.
love this. I thought it was frantic, which I loved. Because John Jones is frantic in this, but so is the pace of the issue. It's all over the place. The Martian shows up as, he's a pay meter for like a parking spot pay meter at one point. His head becomes a baby's head. John does not know what's real and what's not. And he feels like he's going nuts, but as the issue progresses, he's slowly realizing, no, this is real. And throughout it, the Martian mindfucker keeps saying, if you're thinking it, it's still real. So it's that idea of like thoughts are manifest, like even perception is reality, and him slowly realizing it throughout this issue is so good. The Rodriguez art too is like, man, the use of just this bright rainbow colors. It's almost like a CMYK, a little more than just that, but just using colors at these clouds to portray, like where the Martian is and compared to the real world, which is a little more gray and I guess grayer toned. And then the idea of the smoke being people's thoughts. There's just one page where John is realizing what actually is happening and how he can see people's thoughts. And you just have a crowd of people with smoke coming from their ears and their thoughts. And there's one guy who's like, I'll never do that again. I'll never do that again. But I enjoyed putting my knife in that thing. I enjoyed killing that dog. And then you see another guy who's like, I can't believe somebody would do that to my dog. That's that story. That's all you get. And that's fine. But I like how John we're with him frantically trying to figure out what this new power set is. Is it powers? Is he going nuts? I love this issue. I thought it was so damn good.
How did you read yours? Digital?
I read this digital. Yeah, I didn't have time to go to the shop.
Mm. Did that affect your reading at all?
No, was there a gimmick that I missed?
No, I had trouble with this digital. It was the second to last thing I read, but I only just finished everything this week. So I'm definitely going to give this a reread. I had a lot of trouble clicking in until until like the it was when we start to get a little bit of backstory on the bad guy. I just I couldn't, there was so much going on the page and I felt like I was, in a rush to read this stuff that I couldn't click in the same way I was able to on the last issue. But once I did, man. I mean,
that's kind of the story too. Like John isn't clicking with the
yeah,
Martian
sure.
until the end, really.
And I kind of feel like not having this physically didn't work for me this time.
I can see that. um, the the art in this issue really pops. The colors really pop,
Mm.
and so much of it is based around the colors. There's color just splattered all over these. I mean, look at this shit, man. Like there's all these,
Yeah, that's
really
the
Yeah.
cool.
page I was talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sean, is there a gimmick this week? This month?
No,
No, there's no like
no.
Martian Vision. Okay, I feel less
At
bad
least
now.
not that I. Yeah, I don't think so.
They were pretty clear about it in the issue. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and even if I remember correctly, the digital stuff from the last issue, like it's all laid out the same. You just miss out on the sunlight gimmick. So
This issue made me think and feel a lot of things. It made me think a lot about the fact that, everybody is walking around feeling like a Martian. Like all of us are walking around feeling alienated from each other, alienated from ourselves in a lot of ways, not even connected to our own thoughts. And, John is walking around and he's seeing the thoughts of other people in the smoke, and you can read what they're thinking about. And in my mind, it's like, those are probably not even conscious thoughts. Those are probably not even things that rise to the forefront. Those are the kinds of thoughts that, you might get a flash of and think, oh, that's not real. I don't really feel that way. That doesn't represent me. That's not real. And I love that the Martian tells John, what happens in your mind is real. And I think that's a good message, but maybe one that a lot of people may not come away with. At least I got this message is like, guard your mind because what you think is real. This guy, this terrorist, did not guard his mind. He got lost in the sauce of conspiracy, of hatred, of all that bullshit, and he ended up a nut, gunning people down. He did not guard his mind against all the awful things that are around you at all times, all the awful things that are in the world. Just look at the world. Just look at this panel. It says hate. One of the places there. There's guns there too.
That felt a lot like, and I guess this issue kind of feels like the opening bits of They Live.
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, once
Oh
Ryder
God,
Roddy
Yeah.
Piper
yeah.
gets the glasses and he starts
Yeah.
seeing things differently, like he still exists in the same world, but there's this added layer underneath it all that recontextualizes things for him.
Yep.
Yeah, I am loving the journey that this book has me on. Dennis Camp is he's doing something that I'm really impressed by. It doesn't work every single time, but he's threading the needle between making really interesting social commentary and saying compelling things that make you think, but not going overboard in it feeling preachy. That was something that I think we talked about with Ultimates number 11. That was the Loki issue and the Asgard issue. This, I think, leans more towards where I like it, where there is a very clear story on the surface. It's not overwhelmingly preachy, but there's a lot of meat on the bone if you want it.
But at the same time, there is a mass shooter talking about the Great Replacement theory, and he goes to Little Damascus to kill. Like, so it's there. It is on the page, but it's also like not a plot, if that makes
But
sense.
there's stuff to pull apart.
Sure, yeah.
There's no one in the book saying this is bad the way I felt it coming from Ultimates. Draw your own conclusion. We know this is bad. I don't need Dennis Camp to step in and say it through another character or through the narration. I know that. We're living this life. I felt like I was able to get lost in this comic in a good way.
Joe in the chat says, after reading this, I put my microwave outside.
Speaking of the chat, Matt Fisher with the 4.99. What's up, dude? Now that it's Thursday, Assorted Crisis Events number 2 was terrible. Oh well, we can't talk about that, can we? We can't talk about that. It's not on the docket.
I didn't get to check it out. It is downloaded. It will be checked out, just not yet.
By the way, though, speaking of Matt Fisher, Cale, Tyler, and Marco got shout outs this week on the Solid Monster Sounds Off live show.
Just
I
confusing
did.
that poor dude.
You guys did.
Oh, that is an expert troll. Good job, Matt Fisher.
Yep.
I appreciate that kind of work.
Cool to know I exist in YouTube in circles I'll never see.
The talk about the tremendous Javier Rodriguez art for a little bit.
Future Eisner nom
For this, you think?
for this for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, it's damn good. I've been a proponent of Javier Rodriguez for forever, and I think this book is letting him really kind of spread his wings on like the trippy. Like his art is kind of trippy as is, but this he gets to lean into it, and this issue he gets to lean into the horror aspect too. That opening scene with the the white Martian and the murder that he starts off with, and he's looking that up close shot where he kind of looks like Cale. This is a deep cut. He kind of looks like the actor that was like an early Hollywood actor, and they kind of based him. There's the light fixture in the Brave Little Toaster, the evil one, the chandelier, and he kind of looks like Gomez from Addams Family. There's a look to him, and he was like in a lot of Tex Avery cartoons. I don't know, but it's a weird look to the villain of the story. But it was haunting. It's the look of the guy, and his eyes are just like there, and it's dead. But then it's the white Martian that's in him.
Yeah, I just looked up the chandelier, and I know exactly the face you're thinking of.
Yes.
Yeah, that panel that you held up earlier, Sean, where he's hearing all the thoughts. I I think that's supposed to be inside John's head. Like you can see, like you're seeing. I think we're seeing inside his head the other way.
How do you mean?
So like we're inside his skull where his brain is, and
Oh
all the
yeah.
thoughts and everything are happening in here where John can hear them, and we're however it is, we're inside there looking in. Wild.
It even tells you. It says Martian vision. It says it right there. And then
Yeah.
and then the very next panel is that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You know, the best thing I can say about Javier Rodriguez, and I know a lot of people are going to wax poetic about this book when all's said and done. The best thing I can say about what he's doing here is that he's buying in. He has fully bought in to the concept that Dennis Camp has conspired regarding the absolute Martian Manhunter. And his level of buy-in is apparent in how wild he's willing to be, in how bold he's been throughout this series from a visual standpoint. How he's comfortable just throwing these colors all over the place, doing extremely unconventional things. Like he's willing to go there, he's willing to step outside of the box and be weird and crazy. And it fits this book like a glove. I cannot imagine. I mean, you could always throw out like a J.H. Williams, but short of that, I cannot imagine somebody else being on this.
And the one other aspect of this that I really enjoyed was like the idea of a Martian. Martian Manhunter was made in '55, and for you young people, it's 1955, like you'd say. Um, our idea of Martians were different. That was
Yeah.
the weird looking guy on the moon or on Mars. And in the modern context, like John says, like, no, we've been there. There's no one there. And he's like, well, I'm trying to find a word that you would understand. An alien,
Yeah.
a roommate, an ally. So it's almost like Mitsaputlik. Like it's just a being from another realm or another world. And I
Yeah.
just love how that's a real modern take on that. Man, I can't wait for how Javier Rodriguez, I guess, personifies that. The bits where he's a parking meter when he's a walking sign. I thought the walking sign was great. That's gonna be fun to see throughout this book.
You're calling it out too. This is a funny book too. Like there
Yeah,
are
it is.
funny moments and bits amidst all the, other stuff. I think well, Tyler and I both said pick of the week. Kale, are you
Pick of the week.
okay?
Solid
Yeah.
pick of the week.
If Marco was here, where do you think he goes?
What
I
are our
can't.
other books?
I can't tell with him sometimes.
Yeah,
And
he'd say pick of the week.
yeah, because what else would it be? It'd be like Wonder
Yeah,
Woman maybe for Marco,
He
and I
probably
think
throw
it
Bug
would be.
maybe.
Wars out there or something. So many
Yeah.
boobs and dong were in Bug Wars this week.
Oh, yeah. Never mind. It's Bug Wars.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, don't forget at the end of this, at the end of our reviews, we've got to do pick of the month. So just keep that in the back of your mind as well. I don't know if Marco updated the chart like he normally does on Discord. Hopefully he did, but you guys should give that a look and figure out where you want to go for pick of the month. I'm going to end the poll, and it's about as expected. Poll is 50%. Pick of the week is 30%. Didn't buy or read is 11%, and pass is 5%. That is overwhelmingly positive for one of the best books on the stands right now. And to say that a book this radical is coming from one of the big two is really great. It's refreshing to be able to say that.
80% positive
Agreed.
rate is pretty huge for a Martian Manhunter book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Somebody threw out the question on our YouTube channel. What would the who would read this if this book was not about Martian Manhunter? If this was like John the Martian from Image and it had the same creative team and everything else, but it just wasn't a DC property, who would care?
I would still enjoy it based on creatives alone. But you're right. I'm not sure that 80% is 80% at that point.
And I think part of the struggle with that is with an Image title, you have to sell the book. Right? We have to at least have roughly an idea of the conflict and what's going on, right? With that comes details. And with this, like, we know three things. We know John Jones, we know he's been possessed by an alien, and now we know maybe there's more. That's it. And like, I think that's carrying those, only knowing so little is carrying a lot of weight in this new universe, whereas with an Image book, like, there's so much heavy lifting it would have to do that this just doesn't have to.
Yeah, it's afforded certain luxuries by virtue of being, a DC property. Like you have a loose familiarity with Martian Manhunter. There's some things that they don't have to get into, at least so quickly. My thing, though, with that argument that this individual was making is we've had success. Like it's not like this book is selling fucking, it's not like it's going to be doing Batman numbers, right? When it evens out, it'll have been a nice book. It got extended to 12. That's a beautiful thing. We have had indie success. Beneath the Trees were
Did the mind virus get Sean too?
Yes, so yeah, the white Martians got him.
Oh no. All right, he'll probably be back soon. I mean, yeah, that's a damn good book. Do we, Cale? Were you also looking up to see if the pick of the month thing is up to date?
Do you know where it is?
No, about to ask you that.
Tremendous.
All right, cool. I'll look it up. But yeah, Sean will be back with us soon. I think we're probably ready to go to the next book, though. I think Sean liked it so much that
He had to stop talking about it.
He's speechless.
It says, I'm the host
yeah,
now.
Cale Ward is the host now. Oh no.
Look at me. Hey, look at me. I'm the captain now.
Okay. I gotta fix everything now. Oh no, I'm doing this live. God
Take
damn.
yo time. Lucas got the screenshot. Y'all in trouble.
I would expect nothing less from our audience, honestly.
Let me say, when what is it? The second to last page when or a third to last page or whatever, when the Martian is in his head and he's looking at what the explanation for why this guy
Yeah.
did all this, and he sees the white Martian and it winks at him,
Yep.
and all we get is like the big frowny face on the Martian.
Yeah.
Um, that's it. That moment, weirdly, it felt like this crazy line of this feels like such like second grade storytelling or whatever.
Hmm.
In like, here's the moment and this explanation, uh, and uh, the Martian is incredibly sad about it,
Yeah.
but also like it's working on a level that is so elevated, right? Because the you're inside this guy's mind in the past, in the memory, and the white Martian is coming out of the poster, winking at our Martian,
Yeah.
and then going into his brain, and we watch that whole thing. Like that's such a wild page to me
That whole
that
sequence
it,
is great. Yeah.
yeah,
And
that I really love that page.
and even in that sequence, there's that bit where like our Martian or Green Martian, he recognizes what's going on. He's like, okay,
Yeah,
I understand what's happening here. This is a simple solution. uh, Pretty much saying like, oh, that real life kind of mind control that can happen, and that can skew people's thoughts and make them twist their opinions on things is
yeah,
simple and stupid. In real life too, is kind of what he's saying, and I enjoy
yep.
that. Yeah, it's a great bit. Yeah, I guess an EMP hit Sean. I don't know what happened. We'll figure
Cool.
it out.
Uh,
Okay, he's coming back. All right, he'll be back soon.
oh yeah, great.
Let's read some comments then that are not roasting Sean for this.
Oh, okay, let's scroll up
Yeah,
then.
we got to scroll up. Looks like Izzy's issues. Izzy, hello. Nice to see you
Oh,
back.
what's up, Easy? Good to
Said,
see you,
I
buddy.
think Marco put those in client council threads. Okay. And he said, also, hey guys.
Oh, why do they know that, but we don't?
I mean, I sometimes trust them over my own thoughts.
Yep.
Dan Trudeau says he's saying things that challenge the status quo. They had to shut him down. I thought you were talking about Dennis Camp for a second. Then I realized that was about Sean. Even though Sean
Uh,
pulled on Batman Hush, so I think he's doing very status quo stuff.
yeah,
I did too. Though,
yeah.
So
So Lucas says, how would this character help the absolute universe in an event? Is the only thing I'm worried about. This book feels so much more different from the other absolute books, which are already very different from mainline.
I I don't know how to say this any other way, and it's going to sound rude, and I don't mean it to be. I don't care. Um, and not
Right?
to like your question, but like as I'm reading these absolute books, none of them really feel similar. Like there are bits where I'm like, I'm reading Absolute Batman. I'm like, how does this exist in the same world where a Tetracide was attacking a city that Wonder Woman attacked? You know,
Mhm.
how does it exist in the same world where massive injustice is happening to every form of society, like in Superman? So I don't really think about them in that way. But yeah, it's yeah, I guess the same with Martian Manhunter. That's where I stand. It's like, all right, yes, it is part of the absolute line of comic books, but it's not a universe really for me, and I'm okay with that. I
Yeah,
guess we'll see a change coming up with Free Comic Book Day,
yeah.
but I'm okay with having my thought process on this kind of rejiggered.
So Sean, we are addressing Lucas's comment. How would this character help the absolute universe in an event? Is the only thing I'm worried about. This book feels so much more different from the other absolute books, which are already very different from mainline.
Oh, I don't think you should worry about that, dude. Not to say that you're worried about it. I just feel like that should come second. Like to in my mind, it's a safe bet that you can expect Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, Flash, like those core characters, their stories to intersect at some point and lead to an event down the road. But with this, it very much feels look, this was originally going to be 6 issues. So there's clearly no ongoing plan for this book outside of it being a success. If it's a success, anything is possible. But I don't believe Martian Manhunter is like heavily fixed into the bigger agenda of Absolute. And if he is, we don't need to know that right now. It doesn't matter.
I could see him I could see the Martian being the one that sort of reveals it all. Being able to see the puppet strings, as it were. Um, but I don't know. For me, because I did think about that with this. There are some. I don't exactly remember where they are, but there are some illusions in this that made me go, "Ooh, that could be something that explains a bit of the universe here."
Yeah, yeah, I could see that.
But like you said, like everything happening with this book, though, like it doesn't. Again, not that it doesn't matter, but that stuff doesn't affect it.
Exactly. And should it affect it later, if that's what works for Dennis Camp and Javier Rodriguez, great.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the second Absolute book this week, Absolute Wonder Woman #7. This is written by Kelly Thompson with art by Matea De Luis, who is doing unbelievable work. Becca Carey on the letters. Now this is part 2 of 2. We are giving Hayden a bit of a break for a couple of issues, and so this story is taking place in the meantime. And it is in continuity. It is in it's next in line. She was dragged to hell at the end of the last arc, and this one continues from there. But this issue largely features Wonder Woman battling a chimera, a kind of chimera, um, for Hades' enjoyment, pretty much. And it shows, more of her backstory, more of her relationship with Cersei and everything like that. And we get a glimpse of, even more of Wonder Woman's power and defiant nature. Cale, how did you feel about this one?
Less hot on this one than the last one. I thought it was good, and I thought the overall narrative and the illusion, the connection to the story that uh runs the thread uh of this issue. I thought it was good, and I thought it was used in a really interesting way. But I I got really confused at the end when she goes Super Saiyan. I What's up with that?
She just prayed to the gods of Hecate and the goddess of justice.
Okay,
And they just
and that's it.
I think that's all it was.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, all right. I felt like I missed something. Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was a clever workaround. Um, you know, Diana's deal with Persephone and how she tricks Hades and all that. Um, it's just a really fun little romp. I thought the dilemma that she gets herself in with the chimera, the tiger. She says, "Look, I don't want to do this. Please don't make me do this." And she reaches out to the tiger, and she says, "Look, please don't make me do this." And the tiger says, "Hey man, fuck you." And she says, "All right." um I thought that was really I like that that to me is Wonder Woman. That very specific moment. I think the issue that I have sort of had, and I think we've brought this up before, definitely in some of the other books, but Um, in this one, there have been several little points where you can see that Diana is who she is. Like in she, this is a character that we know and we recognize, and she's magic based, but that's about it. That's the difference. She's still Diana, and that's I'm mixed on that aspect.
It that being not as different.
Yeah,
Could I counter that with saying the fact that there are no Amazons makes her wildly different?
but I think my problem is that you know her experience uh in the main line with the Amazons is what makes her that. Gives her this rounded character, right? It feels to me like she already has that here, and she's just born with it. Or she gets it from Cersei. Yeah. Uh, but even in the flashback, she it feels like she has it super early on. So I don't know. It feels like a nitpick, and it feels like something I don't quite know what to do with yet. That could just be who the character is, and that's why we love her.
For me, this specific issue did two things I love, especially when it comes to like Greek mythology. Um, it does the flashbacks as told by ancient pottery, which I eat that shit up. That's very like the Hercules animated movie, one of my favorites of all time. They do that shit all the time. It's Matthias Bergara does a lot of Wonder Woman commissions, and he leans in on that the pottery aspect of it too. I just think it looks great, and it's fun in a comic place because essentially they were comics back then. They were meant to tell stories. Like you would see them in a succession, and it would tell a story. So it's kind of retelling the original format, one of the original formats of comic book telling. I think that is phenomenal. But also the idea of Greek mythology is always about fine print. It's always about a bit of like a morality tale at the end. And in a way, the story that happens within these two issues is that, but in reverse. It's not the gods always win. The god loses in this. Hades loses in a very similar way that the gods would screw over humanity in actual Greek mythology. And it kind of turns it on its head, and I love that. Even having Persephone, who is a tragic story in Greek mythology, be the downfall of Hades, and her machinations being what leads Diana to kind of flip things on its head. Loved it. I had a lot of fun with this from a storytelling perspective. I thought like it's rare we get 2-issue stories in comics nowadays. We love the Batman Dark Pattern 3-issue format. For like a good 2-issue story, this was great. I know filler sounds pejorative at some points, but that's kind of what it was, but in a good way. Like it was there to fill the gaps between issues and art. I thought it was great. This was almost my pick of the week, and then I read Martian Manhunter, so it's kind of close. But yeah, I loved it.
I had the exact same experience. I read this before Martian Manhunter. I'm like, yeah, nothing's gonna top this. And then I read Martian Manhunter. But this was excellent. I mean, I really love the art. Again, I'll say it again. It's nothing at all against Hayden. I think what Hayden is doing is great. This feels very, very cool. Maybe it's just for the moment. But I loved the way this looks. It has that like epic sort of cinematic feel. Feels very appropriate for Wonder Woman. The visuals during the battle between Diana and the Chimera, the reds clashing with the blue of Hades was very cool. Diana looked badass when her eyes started to get that almost dark side energy about them. That was sick as hell. There's just a lot of really cool visual moments, and the story is great too. I actually think I might have liked this issue better, just because it does that whole like parable of the gods type, like sort of what Tyler was breaking down. It does that, in this issue. I even like the title of the arc is the Lady and the Tiger, right? And or the Lady or the Tiger. Well, Wonder Woman is the lady and the tiger. Like she is that fierceness that you would represent in a tiger, but she's also that softness that gets represented by a lady, so to speak. And that's on display in the fact that she's able to defeat the Chimera, but also offer it the grace of survival. The possibility that the Chimera could live on if it made that decision. Of course, it doesn't. And so Wonder Woman does what she has to. But she's a woman who can do it all. She can be, loving and graceful and have friends and family and speak to animals and be great with them, but she can also pull out that big ass sword and kill something if it has to come to that. I love that.
Well, and I agree with you. Like she is both of those, but like also in the story, the parable of the lady or the tiger, she's neither. She's the guy in the story, and
Right.
it's the idea that you have agency, you have control over your destiny, which is like
Yep.
it's a woman led story as well, written by a woman. So having that as another layer to it all, there's that one bit where she's like chewing over. She's like, "All right, which one did he pick? Did he pick the lady? Did he pick the tiger? Who did his love send him to?" And then she realizes she's like, "I'm not the princess in this." I thought that was great. I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
her aha moment was my aha moment." I'm like, "Oh yeah, hell yeah,
Years later,
yep."
she realized this. Yeah. And that's the power of a good story.
I was trying to beat her to the punch, on the page and figure out what it was, what it would be
Mm.
before Wonder Woman, but I didn't. And so I had the aha moment. Actually, I didn't even have the aha moment alongside her. I had to read it back. I had to go back and reread the thing and go, "Oh, okay," because she doesn't immediately say who she is in the story. Just realizes she's not the princess. So I'm like, okay, how does that play out? But I love the way that was told. Um, one criticism. One
Not
criticism.
allowed.
I can't. Sorry.
Not allowed.
Right. I don't want to say it because I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, and this issue was so good, but I just don't know where this book is headed. Like, there's not even an inkling of that, and I feel like all the other absolute books. Well, Martian Manhunter is on a journey of its own, but all the other ones kind of give you an idea of like this is where we're going. This is what the book is about. What is that for this? We still don't know.
I'm okay with it being episodic. You know,
Mm.
it's like Star Trek. Wonder Woman gets put in a situation. She has to find her way out of it and maintain who she is as a person. And yes, there will be like I'm sure Hades will come back. He swears, he's like, "Oh, you made an enemy out of me today." She's like, "Yeah, me too, bud." So there's that continuing. Like I'm okay with this. It almost feels like an episodic 30-minute TV show. It's like Xena, you know.
If that's the case, then I can't. I would need smaller arcs because the 5 issue arc that we opened with just felt like it was stuck in a rut for me. This felt breezy, and I like that feeling.
I like that feeling too, and I think the next arc needs to have an MO, and we need to know it. If what I'm saying is the MO, let us showcase that.
Yeah, we got the title of the next issue, maybe arc, is The Maze. So I have to imagine we're gonna get some absolutely killer Hayden Sherman art.
Minotaur is my favorite.
Yeah. But we're gonna spend 5 issues on The Maze and the Minotaur?
Sometimes you get lost in the maze, Cal.
Like admittedly, I'm gonna follow Kelly. Uh, but that's a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
I I don't know. I don't have a problem with that on the surface, but given the past arc, there were a couple of issues there where it really felt like it was repeating a little bit. you know, One thing would happen and we'd get victory, and then all of a sudden, there's a whole new form to the kaiju monster, and Diana gets an extra power, and that was an extra issue. I I think I would like it to be more focused, even if it's at the risk of more issues.
And, and,
Meaning I would rather have less issues if it's focused storytelling.
and quite frankly, I don't have an interest in 5 issues in a maze. Like set pieces like that are static. Just I feel like this book could go anywhere, it could be anything, and I don't think there's a need to root yourself so specifically every arc. But again, uh, that is a relatively minor criticism for what overall has been a pretty awesome book. So easy pull.
Easy pull.
Pull for me as well.
Let's see what the listeners are saying about this. You guys gave Absolute Wonder Woman number 7. 54% of you say pull. Didn't buy or read is 23%. Pick of the week is 15. And pass is 5%. So overall, that's 69% of you saying positive things about this book.
Nice.
Nice.
Very good. Sent this Matt Fisher super chat. Matt Fisher, 1999. Thank you, dude. Hush 2. The problem is threefold. 1, we've had 20 years of Lee drawing bats. 2, 20 years. More than that, surely, no? 2, if we hadn't seen Hush for 20 years, it would have been different. 3, compared to the first time, these cliffhangers suck. Driving, so have to send now. These cliffhangers suck. I agree with that.
Are they cliffhangers? Oh, the Joker's about to die. That's not a cliffhanger.
Well, the Riddler one.
What's in the middle of the issue?
The Riddler one? No, that wasn't that how it ended.
No.
How does it end?
I felt like the Riddler splash page happens almost at the end, but not quite. You'll have to check. I could be wrong.
It's the second to last page.
Okay.
It's that, and then one more page, and then it ends.
It's like Jason Todd took the body, right? That's
Jason is
cliffhanger?
working with Hush. Yeah.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, the cliffhangers aren't particularly good. I definitely grant you that. And I think if we hadn't had to wait, you say if we hadn't seen Hush for 20 years, it would be different. I don't even care about that. If we hadn't seen Hush in 20 years, the story would still need to be good. Had these two just gone directly into Hush 2, sounds great. Jeff Loeb, Jim Lee at the height of their powers. For whatever reason, and I can't say what it is because I don't know, Jeff Loeb is not doing here what he is doing on the last Halloween. I don't know why.
And Jim Lee's not doing what he's doing here, like when he did Suicide Squad. That shit was good.
Greg Katzman. Greg Katzman's an awesome dude. Greg helped us out a lot. He works for IDW. He helped us out a lot to get interviews at Comic-Con with Jason Aaron, or well, after the fact, but with Juan Ferreira, Cliff Chang. Great guy. He asks, what ranking would we do? How would you guys rank all the current Absolute books? Feel like they've all been strong overall for very different reasons.
I can go mine. Right now, shit. I think it's Absolute Martian Manhunter number 1. Wonder Woman number 2.
Yeah.
Batman 3. I think that one beat Superman. Superman's at 4. Green Lantern. I haven't gotten much of that. I feel like it's even hard to even throw in here, but I would do Green Lantern then Flash.
Yeah, I feel like Green Lantern and Flash, I still don't have enough information to work with.
Which is to
So
say something, because Martian Manhunter is my number one. That's had 2 issues. Flash has had 2 issues as
yeah.
well.
And the others had more to work with. All of them except those 2 have had more to work, more meat on the bone in the first 2 issues. So that's not great. I think mine is identical to yours, Tyler. I think I'm in the same spot.
So you have good taste then.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
I'm gonna copy paste Tyler, but I'm gonna swap Green Lantern with Flash. So Green Lantern on the bottom and Flash just over that for me.
Hmm.
But otherwise, I'm with you. Um, let's see. Shalom Warburg. Hey, dude, it's good to see you. Shalom is one of our patrons with an origin impending. Good to see you in the chat. The solicitation for Absolute Wonder Woman number 10 mentions Diana is in the maze still. All right. That's that. Well, that's what, 8, 9, 10. So that's 3 issues from now. So
Guess we'll see what 11 does. If it's 11, then it's a 5-issue arc. I've not heard of a 4-issue arc anytime recently.
yeah, I can't think of one myself.
Unless something gets canceled at issue 4, then accidental. But
I know we missed some comments. I want to take a brief break from reviews just to read some comments that we might have skipped out on.
While you look, let me hit this one from Roboters. Just a general PSA here. Upcoming in May, Loeb and Lee are doing a special presentation of answering questions on Hush Tua. So for those who want to know from the inside men who are working on it, I just saw this on the DC Discord.
Oh, that's kind of weird. Like, what questions are they going to answer?
When will this get good?
I have a good question for them. Why? Just a question mark at the end. Just why?
Did you know? Did you know you can get a refill on your talent at Walmart?
No, they stopped that promotion, and those books were actually good.
They stopped it. Oh no.
C.W. Gordon says, isn't it heading to finding/freeing the other Amazons and a war with the gods? I think so, yeah, but I don't think the book has presented itself that way. And I would like for them to center that. You know, if that's the goal, remind us of that. We're 7 issues deep. We don't really hear a lot about that as the goal of the book or Wonder Woman's ultimate goal. I would like to hear more about that and see her make progress towards that on some level. Chop Harder Alchemist, what's up, dude? Says, what's up, y'all? Can't watch live. We'll watch later. Loved ASM 2. Smash the like button. I agree with that. All right. Let's jump into Amazing Spider-Man number 2. Speaking of the book, this is written by Joe Kelly with art by Pepe Larraz, letters by Joe Caramagna, and colors by the incomparable Mark DeGracia. Now, last issue, Peter was wigging out. He was freaking out at the end. He saw like all these different villains, like all his major villains from history, and this one picks up right after that. He's fighting them, and it's all draped in this red that gives you the impression it's not necessarily happening, but it looks great from Marta Gracia. Peter is disoriented in his real life as well, because we find out that all of that is a hallucination. He's disoriented in his real life, can't get his shit together at work. And there's a lot of references to the past because he's got this friend who is a school friend who he hasn't spoken to in years, who's given Peter this job. And so he's thinking a lot about his past, his mistakes, his life, and things like that. As he's disoriented, there's a plot that Hobgoblin and Itsy Bitsy
Somebody
have
called it out
apparently
last
laid.
issue 1. They were like, "Oh, I bet you it's Itsy Bitsy" in the chat. I forget who it was.
What?
Yeah,
I can't believe that's an actual villain's name.
That's bad.
it's a Joe
That's
Kelly
rough.
creation from Spider-Man Deadpool. She has the DNA of both Spider-Man and Deadpool.
Oh God.
Oh
It's
no.
what Superboy is to Lex and Superman.
But worse.
Yeah. I thought this was a fine issue. Like I think it's kind of in the same boat as issue 1. It's pretty standard story. Um but the freaking art, the Laraz art, Monte Gracia on colors elevates that from like a pretty standard story to like, oh, it's a good comic. I think some people were in the chat on our impromptu show on Tuesday were like, oh, it ain't good. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's bad. And I don't want to say it's mid because that feels rude. Like I feel like when people say something is mid nowadays, it means it's bad, which is counter to what mid means. But yeah, I think this was a fine book. I had no, this was harmless in my eyes. I thought it looked really good. I think the idea of Peter having those like visions where he's just actually just having a hissy fit in a parking lot and destroying public property, but like that, him flashing forward and it's like his life always screws up, and it's usually his fault, but this time it's not, and that can be frustrating. And I think there's something here. I don't love it, but it's my favorite of the Joe Kelly modern Spider-Man stuff so far. Yeah, Dan Trudeau right here. It says the perfectly acceptable Spider-Man #2.
Yeah. I the this poisoning thing isn't new. We've seen this type of thing happen, how many times. But I think the jarring way it's being used for Peter, where it feels like there's some overlap, where you're never totally sure what's real and what's not. It feels a little bit, I don't know. It feels a little different to me, and just that it feels like it's being used in a slightly different way. Um, I don't know. It feels like that feels good. It keeps me questioning what's going on in the same way Peter does, and that itsy bitsy reveal didn't do anything for me, but I like the meat of what's happening here. It's fun. I don't know. It's a Spider-Man book. It's fun.
There's that one double page spread where the hallucinations are their own panels, but it's kind of like they're at like canted angles.
Mm.
It kind of looks like the opening to Monsters Inc. with like all the doors kind of um, overlaying over the reality, and you can see what's real and what's not real. And I thought that was a great device. I mean, how to display that. Oh, you're muted, Sean.
I'm sorry about that. I I think, I think this is gonna happen again, but I am loving this. I am loving it. I think this is really good. It's fun. Um, I love the Hobgoblin being here. He's always cool to see come around. I agree with everything Cale said about the poison and how Peter's having these hallucinations. It feels just different enough from every other time that I've seen this, and I'm like, okay, let's see where this goes. Um, and listen, man, Pepe Larraz drawing Green Goblin with
Oh,
Marta
so good,
Gracia colors.
so good. Do you know what bit? I don't know if you can pull it up, Sean. It's the bit where Itsy Bitsy and Hobgoblin are just walking and they're like exploding it, but you can only see their feet. And I realize I'm about to fall into
Here
my
we
own
go.
trap here. But I thought that was really good character work. Like I knew that was Hobgoblin just based on his boots,
Yeah.
but I didn't know it was Itsy Bitsy because I'm unfamiliar with her, and I'm sure
Yeah.
true Itsy Bitsy heads would know that's her immediately, especially with the word bubbles. But I thought that was like a good way of showcasing that, with also like keeping things secret.
If you can pick out Itsy Bitsy by her feet, you're a fucking fiend.
Where's that Gooner cover? Hey,
That's
Hayden, you an Itsy
crazy.
Bitsy fan?
Who even is that? Like up until now, I don't know who that is. How many fans could Itsy Bitsy even have?
If all of Itsy Bitsy's fans are dead, we know Joe Kelly is not around anymore.
Damn.
Well, she got those nightcrawler toes, so we know Tyler's into it.
Oh, damn, my copy just ripped. That sucks. Or like,
Yo.
Damn,
yeah,
he
look
got
at
too excited
this.
about those Itsy Bitsy pages.
I got to get another one. That's so annoying. Oh well, what are you gonna do?
Keep that in mind for
Um,
next week's Sean Stack.
yeah. The other thing though, and I want to give Joe Kelly credit about this. He's bringing up Peter's past, and he's kind of sort of leaning into the idea that Peter was a little bit of a jerk when he was younger. And we're seeing some of that. There's a flashback sequence with him and Uncle Ben and Aunt May where he kind of gives them the business. He's misbehaving. And that's not something that I feel like I see a lot of modern writers remember or bring up. That young Peter, pre powers, was a shit. Not a delinquent, but he was a shit. And that's refreshing to see brought up.
Yeah, agreed. And it's yeah, the it's so funny to see um the golden boy sort of brought down in that brought down a peg in that way,
Yeah.
because we all have shitty childhood moments, right? But like, I'm not Spider-Man, you know.
Wish I was Spider-Man.
And Roboter says, going back to those Ditko roots, like, yeah, he kind of was a dick in the Ditko books. But I also like the inverse of it too, is that like, oh, we're led to believe that this friend was a bad influence on him as a kid. What does that mean as an adult? Could he be Hobgoblin? Hobgoblin is historically always been almost. He has like 3 different people that have been Hobgoblin.
Yeah.
Let's add a 4th.
Did we? I think we saw Kingsley.
Oh, we did see Kingsley. Now,
Yeah.
we've seen Kingsley with other
yeah.
Hobgoblins before too.
I
Have
guess.
But there's something going on there. I don't know what it is, but something's going on.
Yeah. Look, I know that I developed a reputation. People feel like I was shilling for ASM during the Zeb Wells run. I wasn't. That was my authentic feelings, and it's the same now. I really, really enjoy this. Is it reinventing the wheel? No, but I don't think that is always required. And for me, Amazing Spider-Man being a comfort book that I can go back to and have a good time with every month makes me happy. It actually makes me feel good.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Do you think that in the previous in this run and the previous run, Zeb Wells' run, do you think it helped that they had such well-known artists?
Of course.
In the sense that like it made you go from a mid book to a book I enjoy. Like did it carry the weight?
I don't think so. Not in the way that I think you're asking anyway. Like, I don't think an Ed McGuinness book, pushed over
That's true.
the Zeb Wells, writing.
Sean
I
didn't
think
like Red Hulk, so that's proof of that. Yeah.
I do like Red Hulk.
You like the Jeff Loeb one that I made you read with Ed
No,
McGuinness?
Jeff Loeb's Red Hulk writing was dreadful, but Ed McGuinness's art was great. I
Okay,
love
so
Ed
maybe
McGuinness.
it's proving my point then. Yeah.
I think on the Doctor Octopus issues of the Zeb Wells run, and you know what, it was just fun.
Those were good issues. I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
like I think even if it was, even if it was JRJR on those, I don't think it would have looked anywhere near as good. But I think it would have been fun. I think we would have had a hard time getting past the art. But I think what is happening, be it in the editorial, be it in the whoever's choosing uh you know arcs for particular artists, they know what they're doing. Like, it's working.
Yeah, and for me, I'm more writer. I'm more writer focused, and so I'm more likely to react badly to a script I don't like than art that I don't like. So I don't think that the quality of the art is carrying for me my perspective on these books. But it is, I mean, certainly it's enhancing it. I wouldn't read this if it was just prose, but that's why that's why I read comics. So I just really like this classic kind of storytelling. I don't know.
As you would imagine, we've already seen a bits and pieces of little uh Ultimate Spider-Man praise. For me, I gotta say, this is way better than Ultimate Spider-Man.
I'm with
Ooh.
you. I don't know about way better,
Ooh.
but I enjoy it more.
I'll
They're
say
about
it.
to get in your ass, Cale.
Hey,
No, hey, you know
it's
what? Guess
2025.
what?
That's fine.
Not my ass. I don't check the comments.
I'll have to get in there and defend you. But look, I have less complaints
Yep.
about this book.
Yep.
I have less problems with it. I'm
Yep.
enjoying it. It's just good stuff.
And I also think my complaints on Ultimate Spider-Man are amplified because it's Hickman.
Yeah. Yep. And I
All
think
which
because of
which
Spectre's
which is
point.
a backhanded compliment to Hickman.
sure.
Look at the chat. It's
You know,
happening.
Steve brings it up. He says, you know what ASM has? Supporting characters.
Yeah, yeah.
I just complained about that, the lack thereof, in my newsletter this week or last week. This is a problem in comics that ASM doesn't have.
Yep. We're even getting Spider-Man interacting with uh Peter's situationship. Is that what that is? The kid I've heard the kids use
Oh
that.
yeah. I'm familiar.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Um I like that's classic stuff.
Easy pull. I can't wait for the next one. I don't know what to say. I'm into it.
It's fun. You know what? I'm here for it. Full.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull on this one too.
Let's see what you guys say. Chat, you've had your opportunity to cast your vote in the poll. Make sure you guys do that. We always put a poll up for every book that we review. Make sure you vote if you want to let us know how you're feeling. Poll is 70%.
Ooh.
70%.
Sean,
What
it's
is that? That's
Spider-Man. They're gonna buy it no matter what.
a silent majority. They bought it, but they didn't pass. Poll
Yep.
just
Or
means that means you
yeah,
got
that's
it and
true.
liked it.
Yeah.
They
And then the negatives are what, 26%?
yeah,
Like 72 versus 26. Like that's a solid majority.
love it. Love it. Joe says, I think Ultimate Spider-Man is more rereadable issue to issue. When is the last time an issue can win you over without an arc to fill you up?
I
I don't know, but it wasn't Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah, there was that one issue, like December's issue, I think, that was like, oh, okay, hold on, we're back. But I think that the way the time is, the month to month, screws Ultimate Spider-Man in the sense that, like, yeah, one issue can get me back in, the next issue can get me right back out.
And also, it's not fair to say that that wasn't a part of an arc. It's like that issue, the event, the reason why that issue felt as amazing as it did is because of where it goes, which is based on what happened before. So I don't even agree with that statement on its face. Um, Look, hey, you know what? The beauty of comics, just like everything else, is that we can all, we all have different tastes and different opinions. And those of you who are loving Ultimate Spider-Man right now, more power to you. I just don't think you're going to find that same kind of praise amongst the panel here. Not yet. It's got to get good first.
It's only been 15 issues.
It'll
It'll
it,
get
it'll come around.
it'll get there. Don't worry.
And to be fair, this has only been 2 issues, so and I did not like the previous Joe Kelly stuff. So this also has the opportunity to go in a direction I don't care much for.
But again, the Zeb Wells stuff, like
That was consistent.
that's what I'm saying. Like there was a bad arc, in what we read, the gang war stuff.
Oh my god, yeah.
Was kind of, bad.
Even that I don't feel was bad. It was just meh,
Yeah.
Like I was able to stomach it. It was like, taking a pill because I was reading I was enjoying the series as a whole. But yeah,
You know what? You compare it to a pill, Tyler. That's like when you have to take one of those fucking horse pills that barely fits in your mouth and you try to swallow it down and then it gets stuck in your throat and then you're coughing and hacking and you have to take this pill because you need the result. You need to get through it, but it sucked going down.
Sean.
That's how I felt about Gang War.
Sean, I think that was a suppository.
What's that?
Never mind. Go to the next one.
Where it goes up your butthole.
Yeah, they're a little bigger. Yeah.
Well, I didn't get the memo on that one. Let's talk about One World Under Doom, number 3. This is written by Ryan North, who is the toast of the town these days, with art by R.B. Silva, colors by David Curiel, letters by Travis Lanham. Stop me if you heard this one. The heroes don't trust or believe that Doom is doing the right thing, and so they do something to try to provoke him into doing the wrong thing. But instead of doing what they think he'll do, he does the opposite to further prove and reinforce that he's actually a good guy, even though they refuse to believe him no matter what he does. What I just said could be issue 1, 2, or 3 of One World Under Doom. Take your pick.
I'm out. 2 major issues with this. I love Ryan North. His Fantastic Four. Even the tie-ins to this event are phenomenal. They're so good. And I like the premise of this book. But man, do I feel like these characters are stupid. The Avengers feel stupid. The Fantastic Four feels stupid. They feel clouded by their distaste for Doom. And if this is some elaborate ploy by Ryan North to get me as the reader to then feel the same way the humans do in the book, great job. You did great. But I don't think that's the case. I think the fact that Storm, an Avenger, is teaming up willingly with MODOK, somebody who was on Orcus less than a year ago, trying to wipe out the mutant race, is bonkers to me from a continuity standpoint.
Yep.
I don't like how they're... And also, when was Arcade a sniper?
Sure.
That bothered
I'm not even going to interrupt you. But
that bothered me.
Please.
That bothered me. I'm an Arcade head. I know Arcade. That was out of character. So that I'm not vibing with. The other thing, and I'm going to sound rude here, but so be it. What's the first name of the colorist, Sean Curiel?
It's David Curiel.
David Curiel.
Yeah.
Is he colorblind? I think the colors in this are ugly. This has the color palette of vomit. And I know they're leaning into the fact that this is, One World Under Doom. Doom is the lead. Let's take the normal color palette of bad guys, purples and greens, and let's lean into that. Let's lean into the oranges too. I think it looks bad. I don't think it looks good. And I think there's a kind of a form that the coloring is taking to the art that is overlapping the line art to make people's faces real muddy. There's one page, and I pulled a page out for the slide here, where Tony Stark, I think he was with MODOK and Baron, or he was with MODOK and somebody else to introduce them to everyone. Doc Ock, yeah, and he introduced them to the rest of the team. Why is the Goblin Queen, a brunette? Her most defining feature
Caught that, yeah.
is that she's a redhead. That is a huge mistake as a colorist. And everyone who's Caucasian or sort of white they look like they have jaundice. And the only thing I could think of is that we're trying to take the color palette of the greens, the oranges, the purples, and show what that would look like, maybe reflecting off traditional colors, which then changes those colors a bit, it ain't working, buddy. I do not like this way this book is colored. It at some points it's like, oh, this is cartoon vomit. That's my soapbox. I'm out. I'm not digging this at all.
I I gotta say, I'm really not enjoying the art. The Maybe it could be the coloring, the shading. Um, I'm looking at the next page from what you pulled, I think, Tyler. The Scarlet Witch doesn't have a mouth
That
in
happens
that
multiple
first panel.
times. Yeah. If you even on
Um,
the info page, the recap page, when they show the characters' headshots, Captain Marvel is losing facial features.
you know what? It's got for me this type of thing is what I don't like about like Jay Lee's art. It's a sort of melting that happens with the coloring that and maybe it's not the coloring, shading, whatever. It's similar in those cases for me. Yeah, I just not a fan. And there's a moment on that same page at the bottom where we have to calm Thor down twice, but I guess Thor doesn't listen to women, so he has to go to Iron Man. Like, what the hell?
He only takes
I
hair care advice from women. That's the only thing he listens to them for.
Man, I just I don't know what to make of this book other than I'm rooting for Doom, and I'm gonna have a hard time believing that the heroes are in the right whenever the tide eventually switches.
Especially when the premise of the cliffhanger is we have a actual big bad that now sets up Doom as the protagonist.
Yeah, yeah. I I I know that Ryan North is a really smart guy,
Yep.
and I think he set this up really well so that we're rooting for Doom. But it's I think it's going to be again a tough pill to stuff up your butthole when when the other shoe drops.
You're mixing your analogies there.
Weird analogy.
You put the anal in analogy with that one.
Yeah, this one's gonna be a tough event.
All right. First of all, what the fuck is
Scary
up
as
with MODOK?
I thought MCU MODOK was scary. It's John Locke MODOK apparently.
Yo.
Horrifying.
Dude, it's so bad. It's so bad. Like, what is this? What is this
Yeah.
3-panel layout right here? Look at his face, dude. Is he turning into something?
He got the Ahiagao look on him. How do you say that?
Oh my god.
Gooners get it.
Uh-oh.
Visually, there are a lot of problems with this, and it's the same exact problem that Fall of X had. The parts that were done by this visual creative team had the same problem. It just doesn't look good at all. The fucking page where Doom is on a dinosaur, which should be the coolest thing you see today, isn't that cool because there's this nasty fucking green all over the place. And I feel like this was just a weird choice to represent this. Yes, it's supposed to be this way, but
It's an unpleasant green, right? Like it's not just me.
it's off-putting. It's bizarre. And I feel like that about quite frankly, all the colors. It's not even just the green. All the colors look weird. There's something weird about this. I'm not even going down an AI route. It just looks, but it does look digital and in a weird way.
Paint fill bucket.
Sure.
Click, 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 click. I have a palette. I'm keeping to it, regardless of context and lighting. I'm gonna keep doing that color.
Like, look at this. I got to this page during my read, and I was like, "What am I even looking at?" Like,
That looks like my gallbladder before it was removed.
and then from a story wise, dude, like this is the kind of shit I don't want. I don't like. what are we supposed to be getting out of this? Doom is a good guy. Obviously, he's not doing this altruistically, but he's doing the right things. The Avengers want to stop him because he's Doom, but they don't want to look at the bigger picture, and ultimately they'll be proven right. But if they're going to be proven right anyway, why go through this whole charade? I don't care. I don't care. I'm not emotionally invested because I don't even buy into the premise. I'm stuck at the premise. These characters are not dumb enough to bring on these villains to help them with this. Why? What is Arcade bringing to the table that Tony Stark does not bring to the table? And
Yeah.
the flimsy excuse that they come up with, where it's like, oh, well, Doom's not expecting you guys, he's expecting us. If Doom is not ready for what Arcade is going to throw at him, then he's not Doom.
Let me take that one step further. If Doom isn't ready for what Dr. Octopus is going to throw at him, he shouldn't be Doom.
Here's my other issue with the book too, is that its POV is not the story I want. The best pages in this series so far were the Valeria Doom pages.
Yep.
Because the issue with Doom and Doom's downfall is always himself. The Avengers, by definition of who Doom are irrelevant to the story. Doom will screw Doom. It's always been that way. That is always the case. The story will end with everyone still being on Doom's side, but Doom screwing up or him realizing he did something wrong. They don't factor in. Why am I following the story about people trying to factor themselves in to a story that they will never factor into?
My answer to that is because whoever's decisions these were, be it Ryan North, be it editorial, whatever, wanted to have their cake and eat it too. They wanted Doom's story in which Doom is the protagonist, but also the boss, to tie into Fantastic Four. But also, you have to have the Avengers because what would this book even be if the Avengers weren't there at all? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't work. Trying to put a square peg into a round hole. Tyler's right. From a storytelling standpoint, like putting this together, nuts and bolts, it just doesn't fit. It's not congruent.
Secret Wars works because we get Doom's point of view.
Yeah.
We get his motivation. It's clouded to us on purpose because of the story. We are not supposed to know what Doom is thinking. It's supposed to be this mystery. And at the end, it's like, well, nope, that's human nature. He gave everyone what they wanted. And they agreed with him. Which I see the modern day commentary there. It's, I think it was Joe that mentioned in the chat. Is it discourse on American politics? Of course. Even though it was probably written before the actual election day, you could have written this. You could have written this 8 years ago. It's the same thing. But I just don't. This isn't compelling enough as a character piece for me.
The commentary aspect of it that you're bringing up you're right, but it really bothered me because I I don't I don't know. I don't like it. I actually really despised it here. The implication that the world would just bow to this guy who is a known evil terrorist. No, because the whole world over hasn't bowed to our overlord. 50% of our country didn't bow.
Sure. It's just the superheroification of that idea writ large.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But the person, Donald Trump, right? In my opinion, does not have good intentions. He's not doing good things. I don't want that comparison made. Doom is in the book doing good things, and we're going to see ultimately why it's bad or whatever he's doing wrong or whatever. But in the book, he's doing good things. He's going to these different places and he's saying, "What could I give you? Would this help you? Okay, fine." So he's actually giving people what would be beneficial for them with no negative outside of the fact that Doom now runs things. That's not real life. Because we're losing things that we need. We're losing fucking education.
Yep.
Our Doom isn't giving us what we need. So I don't like that. And it makes me feel like Ryan North is trying to say something that isn't, that doesn't reflect the real world.
You're saying the real world's worse.
I do believe that, which is
Yeah.
why I don't think this even goes far enough. If you want to do that, I'm looking, Tyler, I go more to Norman Osborn.
Or look at like One World Under Skull, you know?
I go more towards Dark Reign.
Yeah.
Because that was where Norman was the guy who said, okay, I'm in now.
A businessman. That's what happens when you get a businessman in office.
I'm the boss now. He brought all his villain friends in, right? The Cabal, and they took over. This isn't that.
Arcade for Secretary of Department of Health.
Yeah, if Captain Marvel was the president, according to this comic book, because she brought that motherfucker on. So who's bad? It's a joke.
Couldn't we have gotten more powerful villains? Like, I love Mysterio. My dude, what are you doing there?
But again, yeah, like I think Mysterio plays. Arcade? Dr. Octopus?
Arcade's a guy with traps.
And again, like
No, he's a
Madeline Pryor.
sniper.
Madeline Pryor, the Queen of Hell. Sure.
I'm realizing the inverse of this. We get Arcade, who doesn't do any arcade things.
No. The part that had me fucked up was when they're like, oh, we're gonna reveal the illusion now that there's this machine under Doom that's gonna. It's a fucking can opener.
It's the TikTok videos you watch where it's just they throw shit in a compactor and it just breaks. It's brain rot.
Why would this kill Doctor Doom, but the Avengers cannot defeat Doctor Doom? If we ever get Ryan North on the show, I need to ask him that. Why would Doctor Doom die to a can opener, but not be threatened in any way by the Avengers?
The idea is that it's all distraction. That's all it is for Wanda and Mordo to do their thing.
Right. Okay. Right. Yes. Okay. You're right.
But I guess if that's the case, Arcade is cannon fodder then, you know, and then maybe I can justify that. But the MODOK, unjustifiable.
Well, even on the villain front, though, I kind of think if you get villains that are too notable, too cool,
Yeah.
you almost kind of want to see more of them.
We'd have the opposite problem.
Because this doesn't work.
You can't bring Norman Osborn into the fold.
Yeah.
Although that is intriguing.
Well, remember Civil War. Remember in Civil War when they brought the villains on, which everybody agreed was a bad idea, and they dealt with it in the book.
Yep.
They had Norman was involved, but he was on. He was I forget exactly how it was. Venom was involved. Remember they were taken over by Shield or whatever. Jack-O-Lantern was involved. Jack-O-Lantern's a scrub, but they were dealing with
no. Jack-O-Lantern above Hobgoblin in my eyes.
As a threat.
No, just he looks cool.
Sorry, I don't mean to rant all day about this book, but we
were due for a rant. We were being too nice to these comics all day.
And I hate that it had to be a Marvel, but this was the one that I didn't feel joy in. Batman 159, I'm not going to argue it was good, but I enjoyed it. I did not enjoy this.
I felt like a wrestling fan reading this. Part of the IWC.
I feel like a dumbass reading this.
Oh, you feel like the Avengers?
I guess so. Pass.
Yeah, pass for me.
Yeah, sorry, Ryan.
I'm gonna read the next issue. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I do ultimately want to see where this goes, and I want Ryan to pull it out of the bag. I really do.
And I think if there's a writer out there currently that can pull out the rug from under my feet, it's Ryan North. I'm just so used to him writing these single issue stories lately with Fantastic Four the past couple years that maybe I'm just not used to his longer form storytelling.
I also think it's the curse of an event. You know,
Yeah. When's the last good one? Empire? Secret Empire?
Oh.
well,
Uh,
yeah, definitely not Empire because that's the Al Ewing one that
No,
nobody
I
liked
like
too.
me. I did.
Yeah, nobody liked it.
even though I didn't like it, I think more people would say AXE Judgment Day.
The one where everything is retconned at the end?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. But I
it's
think
a
that, yeah.
it's an event. Yeah,
That one clearly retconned everything and then just threw the Eternals away. Remember those guys?
No.
can't wait for the Inhumans to come back.
Oh my God. You guys at home, your votes are in, and 46% of you didn't buy or read this. Pulse 27%, 27 nutcase, 27% of you are nuts. 24% of you said pass, and pick of the week was 1%. Who is that one man or
Doom.
woman? Doom.
Chris, Chris said, I enjoyed not reading this and reading G.I. Joe #6 instead.
I would much rather be talking about G.I. Joe. Uh Banksy Main says, does pull mean we're going to keep reading or that we'd recommend it to another reader? Because I've been using pull as the former. I think to me, pull means what I would say I think is a recommendation for the listener. I say
Hmm.
pass. I will buy every issue of this event, but I don't recommend that you do that.
In my eyes, it is a thumbs up or thumbs down in a vacuum of that singular issue.
Yeah, I think for me, a lot of times it's would I pull this off the shelf?
Yeah, yeah. Let me ask you guys this: do you want to keep reviewing this?
I feel alive right now, sure.
A lot more that I want to keep reviewing Ultimate Spider-Man or Batman Hush.
Yeah, there's a difference to this. Maybe because it's an event and I'm just so event pilled, you know, that I wanted to see it through its fruition. But there is a bit of me that's like, I trust Ryan North.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. And that lighting is not going to affect the coloring of the rest of what else
Well,
is in that tunnel. But,
yeah.
you know,
I'm the odd man out in this case because I would just as soon drop this motherfucker as far as reviews are concerned. But if you guys are on the hook, then we can keep doing it.
if it's another week where Justice League Unlimited or it's this,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I might want to go back to Justice League.
Did you read Justice League this week?
Not yet. It's going to be my post thing after I watch Andor.
Well, no spoilers, but whatever you think about the We Are Yesterday event that's happening right now, that singular issue was definitely way better than this piece of shit. I'll tell you that. I have no problem telling you that.
All right. Did Flash Year 1 show up?
No spoilers.
Okay.
Ay, ay, ay.
See, I say that, and then C.W. Gordon's like, another DC book. Yes, please. The Marvel head in me stays on the show. Doesn't matter. We need some representation right now.
Banksy Main says, okay, I guess I should have passed that. Nah, I mean, everybody has their own, barometer. So no worries on that. Joe says, not if you don't like it. I love it, but don't want y'all's blood pressure to go up. Is it not entertaining?
My blood pressure never really goes up, dude.
Tyler doesn't get passionate enough.
I could use it. Yeah.
So maybe we should.
For my
that
health.
coloring segment that Tyler just did, like, that was the most passionate I think I've seen him.
It annoyed me. It's Doctor Doom. Top 3 characters for me. Daredevil, Doctor Doom, Cyclops. You fuck with any of those 3? And I'll throw Norman Osborn in there. This is my number 4. I'm gonna have feelings.
You know what sucks, Tyler? All my characters who I have those kinds of feelings about, they don't really get much play. And they're all in shitty positions.
Who do you got? You got Phoenix, Jean Grey. You got
Two-Face.
Two-Face. Two-Face is up there for you, huh?
Oh, I love Two-Face.
Have you kept up on the
Hell
book?
no.
Maybe check it out when it's done.
Dude, I wanted to drop it at issue 1. I felt bad because he's one of the goats, so I gave issue 2 a try, and I like that even less.
Yeah,
I
it's not a
can't go
that's not a
back.
good graph. If you graph that, that's a decline. That looks like the
Can't
current
go
state of the
back.
stock market. And Sean is not buying the dip that is Two Face.
Nope. I'm in shambles. Jay Sage with the 4.99 pound. Peter Parker fans think his life is repetitive. Try being a Red Hood fan. Have a good evening, guys. Congrats on 5K.
Sure.
I'd rather not be a Red Hood fan. At least you got a cool panel this week.
Don't worry, I will never be a Red Hood fan.
Apparently, there are a lot of Red Hood fans, though. I'm not in that camp,
And
but wow. Fair enough. Entertain me with the $5. The Avengers comic feels stupid. Storm on the Avengers feels wasted. It has no seriousness to it, but feels looks to complete comedy, like a joke. Look, everybody has their taste. Tyler would say the Avengers comic is solid. I'm more aligned with what you're saying. I think that book um, isn't it, and I am waiting with bated breath for a new creative team. I have not read Avengers consistently since Jonathan Hickman left it, and that was about 10 that was 10 years ago. That was 10 years
yep,
ago.
yep.
How's that make you feel?
Bad. Actually, really bad because I didn't realize it was 10 motherfucking years ago.
That's what when I realized yesterday that Chocolate Rain came out 18 years ago.
What is that?
Oh, classic YouTube thing. It's Tazon Days, Chocolate Rain. Breathe. Step away from the mic to breathe in. Kale knows. I think this might be white
Oh
people
no.
culture.
Joe says, like Eric Bischoff says, controversy equals cash. You will be at 10K before it's over, but don't turn into a hate channel. Don't let the hate run through you. Dude, there is if it was just me and I had no podcast and nothing, I would read a comic, like it, not like it, and move on with my life. This will never be a hate channel. We're not into it.
No, 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 never. It is never from a negative point. It's from I've seen David Curiel color books that I have enjoyed immensely. This ain't one of them. What's going on?
And I think the critique that it feels like this book is covering like the wrong angle. Like it should be a Doom character piece versus how does everyone try to stop Doom? Like I think that's a critique of like how this could be better and like how we could fix it out of love for the thing because we want it to be good.
And and our opinions are in fact, but we are entitled to them all the same. So if somebody disagrees with what we've said here, that's cool. If you love it, you love it. That's awesome. We
I
just happen
welcome
to
it.
not. Yeah.
We'd love to know what you like about it.
Educate me, please. Bug Wars number 3. Let's get into this one. So this did not win the poll. All right. This did not win the poll. We have had some poll problems over the last few couple weeks.
Which there's a pill
Uh,
for.
and it goes in your butt. Um, the reason for that is, frankly, giving the indies a shot. There's times when publishing is inconsistent. We know that there's been a lot of inconsistencies, and so one struck. And unfortunately, we were not able to read Captain Planet this week because that got delayed. And so Bug Wars was next up. You guys did not choose Medieval Spawn, which I was shocked by, but we will be talking Bug Wars.
1%.
1%.
Yeah. It was almost like 25%. 25. It was like 24, 23, and 25, which is wild spread. Actually, I think Power Fantasy got a little less.
Power Fantasy was 21. It was 21, 24,
21?
25. On the poll this week, though, we've got. Oh, and by the way, before I move on, amazing votes. You guys really showed up and voted for this one, which I'm really proud of because this was the all indie poll. So you proved me wrong. You went out, you supported an all indie poll. That's amazing.
Shame we couldn't come out here for you, but thank you for doing it.
But on the poll right now, though, you guys can vote for Hellhunters #5. Next week's a little weird because of Free Comic Book Day. Free Comic Book Day is always lighter,
Oh yeah.
and so we had to spread the picks around and do some different things. But Hellhunters #5, Godzilla versus Spider-Man #1. We're taking everyone down with us #2, and World's Finest Annual #25, which is currently winning in a landslide.
I'm looking up to see who was the artist on this Godzilla versus Spider-Man, because that's kind of been the thing with these issues. They get a pretty killer artist on it. This one is written by Joe Kelly, doing Spider-Man. Oh my God, Nick Bradshaw's an art. God damn.
Sick.
I love Nick Bradshaw. Big fan.
Vote. Vote, vote, vote. Let's talk Bug Wars. Jason Aaron, Mahmoud Asrar, Matthew Wilson, Beckett Carey rounds out the creative team on Bug Wars. This is a book about a war that is happening between bugs in the front yard of a family home. But that family has a connection to bugs that brings one of the sons of the two parents, the father being deceased, into the muck, into the front yard, into the lawn, so to speak, to fight off these bugs. He's a part of some lineage and legacy that grants him these powers. He's got a medallion that has a connection to his father that he can use to basically have the strength of a man, but the height and body of a bug, pretty much.
Like Ant-Man.
A what?
Like Ant-Man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. This issue's got a lot of fighting. It's got some prophecy. It's got a lot more info dump stuff. Cale, where you at with Bug Wars?
He is away. I can talk about it. He shrunk down, actually. He's experiencing Bug Wars currently. He'll end big in soon enough. I enjoyed this. With this issue, I kind of see where the legs, pun unintended, where the legs of the series can be. I like how it continues to kind of show off these different factions of bugs and point in other directions. Like we're going to essentially the bug Bene Gesserit from Dune coming up with these spider sisters. I love that. I thought this, it was kind of a fun issue. You have all these like fish out of water or human in bugland situations where like this kid does not know what's going on. This is a wild world for him, and he's just trying to survive. And this issue had two of the most gratuitous panels in comics all week. The one panel of a child being stabbed by a dozen giant mosquitoes made my skin crawl. Where he's like almost dead, and it's like, oh, and he's like, I can't even hear. I don't even know if I'm alive because I can't hear my own thoughts over the buzzing. The idea of a bug buzzing near my ear is the worst sound ever. I hate it. And reading that, I had a guttural reaction. And the other really gratuitous panel is like the post battle. They're all like essentially like this huge Ewok-esque celebration.
Fucking and fucking.
Yeah. And there's just one panel where he's looking at all these butterflies. And there's just a shot where Asrar just drew just a pussy. Like, it's just like clit, like on the page. Wow. And I'm like, buddy, he went for it. It's the last panel of a page where they're flying above our character. I'm like, that's gratuitous, but like, so is the content of this book. A Conan book would be gratuitous. This feels Conan-esque. I'm digging this. Someone said, is this worth reading in trade? I mean, probably, yeah, but I like these single issues. I was a real big fan of their Conan run, and this feels similar to it, but different enough.
Yeah, I thought this was fun. I thought it was more. I thought I had a lot more fun than the first two issues for sure. And I think that's because I don't know. I feel weird saying this, but plot happens, like we get an answer that I sort of feel should have come earlier. But I'm also conflicted about that. Like, I just, I don't know. I liked it. I had fun. The book is what it is. Jason's writing it the way Jason's writing it. I sort of, I the the leader of the Beatles being super the being super into Jim, as like a great admirer of Jim, and now his son is gonna follow in his footsteps. Is like, okay, all right, I know exactly who this character is. Fine, that's fine. Um, yeah, I don't know. I had fun. I missed the clit, but hey, my wife would say that's okay.
Nothing new, right?
I don't know. She wouldn't say that.
She wouldn't
Would
say it's
she?
okay.
No. She said, "Get back in there. Get to work." I'm sorry. I'm
She doesn't
sorry.
watch the show. Who cares? Yeah.
I'm not apologizing to her. I will be.
Oh boy. Well, that aside, you know what? I've had my fill of this series. Um, in the indie space, I'm really looking for things that scratch an itch that isn't being scratched anywhere else. And I just feel like stories about kids with prophecies who are going to become fucking, the Lord and Savior of whatever is something that I have read too many times. And the aesthetic of this doesn't do enough to differentiate it from all those stories because I don't actually think this book leans into the ways it could be different enough because these don't look like bugs for the most part. Most of the bugs are in this book in particular are just hot chicks that are naked. I mean, they're all over the
Ain't
place.
nothing wrong with that, buddy.
No, certainly not. But like, I would like this book more if the bugs were more buggy.
Getting freaky with
Because
it.
it
I dig
just
it.
what?
Get weird with it. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
I listen. This is already too weird for me, dude. That page you
I
were pointing out, like, I'm good on that.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
that's a hard
that
wood for me.
yo.
Okay, hold on. That was a Freudian slip.
Yeah, it was.
I
Yeah,
just, yeah. Go ahead.
my critique is, ultimately I think pretty similar to yours, especially on the art front. It's just like, when we said this last time, these are all still just people. Like, you're sort of taking the fun out of bug wars when you just make them people.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what I was expecting, and it's fine. This doesn't have to be for me, but it's just not. It's just not landing. I'm not sure what the tone of this is. Is it supposed to be funny? Am I supposed to take it seriously? I don't know exactly what the tone is, and I know that I don't care about the destination of this book. Like I know that I don't care about this kid being the prophesized son of Jim and all that jazz. I know that's not for me. So I'm good on this. I don't even really have story commentary. I think if you've watched fucking Star Wars or Dune or
Harry
whatever, like
Potter or
Harry
Flash
Potter, like
Gordon, yeah,
you pretty much have this pegged. Like you know what this is, whether you like that or not.
pegged.
Oh my goodness.
hey
Wrong
now,
day
hey
to use that
now, hey
word.
now.
Sorry. I would be a pass.
Yeah, pass.
For me, much like what I assume was happening in this book, I'm gonna yank this one. This is a hard yank for me.
All right. All right. The listeners didn't buy or read is 60%, which aligns with the number uh of votes and the number of views because the views have dropped since we started talking about this damn Buck Wars.
That's what happens when a book that doesn't win gets talked about.
Pretty much. Yeah, there you go. 28% of you said pull, 10% said pass. Nobody said pick of the week. Just about right. Do you guys want to keep talking about this book? Well, I mean, it's mostly a poll book anyway, but
I'm gonna be reading it no matter what. I'm liking it. I want to see where it goes.
okay.
If the things that get weirder in terms of character design, I'll let you know. Like I don't know why the rhinoceros beetle is just a beetle.
Yeah, I think I would be interested to hear if this gets interesting, but I I'm out.
Yeah. It'll hit the poll. But as far as like anticipation for this, I think that my time has passed with this book.
I'll do
Um,
check-ins on Pal's previews, which you can catch every Monday, by the way.
Cool.
there you go, at 1 p.m. sharp.
Yep.
Tilo says you have to put these in the middle of the show. You know what, Tilo? Very, very infrequently do I feel like I see a really smart suggestion in the chat. But that's a good call. Maybe we'll do that. Joe says, would you rather want a fun story throughout the series but a bad ending, or a meh journey with an amazing ending? Dude, I'm not gonna get to the or to the amazing ending if the journey is meh.
Doesn't matter
Drop
how
it.
good the climax is. If I'm not having fun doing it, then
Yeah.
I'm
The
not even gonna
climax
know.
the climax is the friends we made along the way.
Yeah. Oh, I will not know because I will not be buying that book. Cole says it's got to be the most vulgar episode of the pals yet. What the hell?
I think I've definitely
I'm
said words on this episode that have not been said on the show before. Yeah,
That could be true. I was
yeah.
thinking about one of those words in particular, and I'm like, is that a first? But I don't know. We did a
I
lot of
mean,
episodes.
show that was only hosted by guys not being able to know that word or find that word. Not surprising.
Hey, whoa.
We need to talk about the pick of the month. Got to get into the pick of the month. Now, April has been pretty good, actually, I think, for comics overall. We've had some really, really strong books this month. Is anybody hot out the gate with their pick of the month?
Ooh, oh no. Oh no. I just realized what two of these picks are for me. Oh no. So I'm wildly torn between Daredevil Cold Day in Hell and Summer of Superman. Uh those are two books that are exactly what I want out of comics. Wow.
Damn, I forgot about
What
Cold
was
Day in Hell.
what was last week for me?
Zatanna?
No, I don't think issue 3 was my pick of the week.
Was
New
it?
Gods. It was New
Oh, it
Gods.
was the Andrew. Oh shit.
Yeah, it
Okay.
was New Gods.
Yeah, for me, it's between Martian Manhunter and New Gods. I guess I'm not a Marvel head anymore. Ah, shit. Martian Manhunter was mine for number one. Was mine for March. Man, give it a New Gods for me. That issue New Gods fucking ruled.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm gonna go with Martian Manhunter, number 2 from today. I
Month.
I yeah, for the pick of the month. I think that was the other book for me that I could have chosen was Dark Patterns, number 5. But I think Martian Manhunter edges it out by making me think. Because it made me think, and there's stuff in there to pick apart and dive into. For me, that's got to be it.
Tilo has a good point. Isn't pick of the month next week? Because yes, Palace Polls
Oh,
is on May. Is in May.
oh, I forgot. There's one more
It's a fifth
fucking
week.
because it's a fifth week.
It's a fifth week. It's a fifth week. That's a new comic book day week.
You know what? I'm gonna
Looking
go out on a
unlikely.
limb and say we'll be okay
I think
in that.
our options will be the same.
Unless you guys think that Ultimate Spider-Man number 16 is gonna turn the corner, wow you, be your pick of the month, I think we're safe.
I can't wait to tell you guys how much Ultimate Spider-Man sucks.
You guys will be hearing all about that
Grim
next
is
week.
back next week. Oh, well, we're not talking about the show, so it doesn't count.
I think mine's gonna be similar to Superman.
Okay. Valid. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, CW Gordon said, ain't no fifth week book making pick of the month. Yeah, that's pretty much true.
Man, Wes Craig's doing those G.I. Joe issues next week with Duke. That could have been. If we had talked about those G.I. Joe issues on the show, that Danny one, possibility.
If only we had room. There are just so many good books out every week.
I didn't get
It's
to the
crazy.
Danny one until like 2 weeks after.
Hayden's Hideout says, save the DC books for last. I already watched the whole show, but more people might stick around then.
Oh, he's thinking people are going to be okay with us edging them to the DC books.
Yeah, like it's sort of. There are those people like yourself, Hayden, who are locked in and will be here no matter what. But to get the people who are like, maybe I'll tune in, maybe I won't, or who see this later on, post live, they need to see those DC books on the thumbnail. If it's a DC heavy week, if it's a Marvel heavy week, we go with the Marvel book. But generally speaking, that's what brings the boys to the yard.
If they're clicking based on a thumbnail, they want to see what they clicked. So that shit's got to be front and center.
Yup. Joe says, I try to trade weight most of my independent books. I don't think issue to issue is beefy enough for me to remember.
I feel that extremely.
It's case by case. Like something like Power Fantasy right now, I could see myself being like, I could wait for this. I could wait to read this all together. I won't do that, but I could see that. Something like the Sacrificers or Tin Can Society or Kaya, I gotta be there. I need that in my veins when it drops.
Can I call out a quick comment? I hopefully this person's still here. I couldn't find the comment. I scrolled up a while and couldn't find it. But someone earlier asked they were thinking about getting an iPad for their digital comics, and they wanted to know what we use. I think Tyler and I both use iPads.
Yes, I have an iPad Pro specifically. Yeah.
I have a recent model of iPad. I think it's a Pro.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it. My complaint with an iPad, the bigger ones at this point in my life is that and I can't believe I'm saying this as an old man, but it's a pain in the ass to carry around.
You're a little worried too, like the whole time, like, oh, I don't want to drop.
Well, like, and I work retail, so like, man, somebody's gonna steal this thing.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I had like an iPad Mini, or whatever they call it.
That Kindle Color that came out last year, right?
No,
Paperwhite color. No, okay.
I've heard those are not good.
Really, that's first iteration of it. So yeah.
But yeah, like an iPad Mini, something bigger than a phone, but something smaller than the good iPad that I use at home.
I don't know if they still make them. I used to read comics on an iPad Mini, and I loved the size of it. For like,
they still make them.
They do? Okay. I mean, I fucking used to work there. But I liked the iPad Mini size as like a compact version of just like going around. Like when I used to live in Manhattan, I loved it for the train. I was on that constantly, back and forth, just reading that on the train. iPad's probably the way to go if you can swing it, though.
Comics are dope. BJ Kicks, my dude, says, I use an 11-inch iPad Pro and love it for digital comics.
Nier's an absolute maniac, far from his own brain, says, been using my phone as well.
Oh.
I tried that once. I couldn't do it.
I can't imagine.
To be fair, I tried reading the image review copies they give us, which on itself, it's like, all right, it's a little blurrier already.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, I reading digital comics is already, a thing. Reading it on a phone, I couldn't even imagine. No way.
It works
You
for the Infinite comics, the ones that are designed for it. That's about it.
yeah. You do it on your computer, don't you, Sean?
Yeah.
If you have to.
Yeah.
Man.
It's not great, but at least like it's a big screen. My phone is I have a probably a bigger than average phone, but like still I don't want to do that.
I used to read on PC when I had an extra monitor that I would turn portrait instead of landscape. That was nice. I think having to read on landscape is dreadful in my opinion.
Yeah.
Comics are dope says, "Wait, Image gives you guys review copies? I hate you." What? Dude, I'm sure that you can get on their
Oh yeah.
review list because we got on that a long time
My
ago.
old show got on that. And we have
My
6
man
YouTube subscribers.
my man gets Marvel comps and he's talking he hates us. Hey, how about a solid trade?
Yeah, let's share. Well, his resource was actually he got put on. I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, BJ. Near Mint came through with the assist on that.
Sure.
So, I don't know if you got a way to get us in to wedge us in there, BJ, please. But either way, I'm sure we can figure out who to hook you up with for the image stuff. You're
You're
muted.
muted.
Just don't show Marvel this episode.
Yeah.
Oh God. Matter of fact, don't show them the one where the title is "What is Marvel doing right now?" Don't show them any of
Show them
that. Don't show.
the Brubaker Cat Book Club.
You know
Yeah.
what? Maybe just give us a link. It will be cool.
Don't show them the one where we talked about them not paying artists. Don't show them the one where we shit on the X-Men, which is like every other one.
Definitely don't show them the one where we reference Akira Yoshida.
Keep that on the low.
The Eastmaster.
Yikes. Woof. That's a blast from the past.
Shalom Warburg says Challenges of the Unknown by Christopher Cantwell and Sean Isaacs has been awesome. That is if I could have chosen any book to be my pick of the month, Challenges of the Unknown very well would have been in contention.
I'm glad that is showing people how damn good Sean Isaacs is. He was kind of like he was on like some of like the ancillary Avengers books that like Jim Zub was writing at certain times. Sean Isaacs is good. Good.
I gotta get on that book.
Oh, I think it's right down your alley, Cale.
Yeah.
Hayden Tidal says, "Don't show them why fans love DC more than Marvel." That video upset me because I feel like so many people didn't get the point. It's weird. We did a version of that was the opposite that came first. We started with a why do people love Marvel so much more than DC?
We're playing both sides, so either way we come out on top.
Yeah. Yeah. Roger
Ooh.
Hernandez says, "Oh, go ahead, Kel."
I was gonna say, Roger says, "Oh, Sean, I picked up Out of Alcatraz from your recommendation. It was great."
So happy to hear that. I love that book, and it's more important. Like we love talking about Marvel and DC and shit like that. It's way more important in my mind if I say, "Hey, this indie book is great. Go pick it up." You believe me, buy it, and love it too. That's awesome.
That supports creators so much more than buying any big two book.
100%. And I think that's an Oni Press book too. So you're going, that's a couple
Indeed, it
layers
is.
down.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't want to really read that. Never mind.
I'm glad you checked beforehand.
Let's do the stack. How about that?
Hit
Let's
it.
get into Sean's stack. This is the segment we do to end this show, whereby because I read a lot of comics every single week, and you guys are helping me bring that number down, which I think it's working, and I think you guys might see that today. You guys give your thoughts by sharing a number in the chat that you think is commiserate with the amount of books that I bought this week. Whoever's the closest without going over wins either the code to one of the Marvel books that I bought this week or the vaunted no prize. So let's see those numbers.
Man, a lot of people talk about Predator versus Spider-Man.
Yeah, damn. Jesus.
I don't even like those books.
So it's
I
Spider-Man.
read
Is
'em.
Spider-Man going against like a emo lead singer?
Oh.
I didn't even have to name a name. You could throw
Yeah,
you could throw a dart and hit one of them.
That's a book that now I feel like I'm not going back to my shop, but I feel like I gotta spin the block next week. Or maybe it's in my stack, but it's not in my stack. So maybe I need to get that next week.
You see that Predator
Everybody
Badlands trailer at all?
I missed it. Did you guys check it out?
They were leaning into the Alien versus Predator stuff a little more. And there might Disney owning Fox might make the Independence Day aliens part of Predator lore.
Come on.
What?
They show a Predator's trophy room, and a skull from the Independence Day alien is clearly there.
Whoa.
Nah.
Yeah. So I don't know
That's
if they're making
amazing.
an extended Alien universe. I hate it. Kind of like it.
I think as long as I don't ever have to see that actually on film, I'm fine with the idea.
If it's just a cameo like that, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you guys like Independence Day?
I only saw it as a
My
kid.
birthday.
It's true. It's a movie that helps Cale remember his mortality.
Yeah. You know what?
I think it's my favorite movie about an alien invasion.
Does District
Yeah.
9 count? They're not
Sorry?
really. District 9
Oh.
doesn't count, right? They're not really invading.
Yeah, they are.
I guess they
Yeah.
are. Yeah. Yeah, they are. Yeah, District 9's mine. I love District 9.
You know what? I just watched I talked about this last week, but Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Oh,
Great
with
film.
with what's his face? The guy who points and he does the open mouth thing. He's President Snow in the Hunger Games. Is that the same one? There's a couple Body Snatcher movies.
Isn't that his son?
Oh, I don't know.
This was the old one.
The old one. Yeah, okay. The 78 one? Or
Older.
before that. Older okay. I was thinking of the 78 one.
Yeah. Yeah.
You were talking about the 56 one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking of Donald Sutherland from the 78 one.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Joe says Mars Attack. That's a great movie.
That's a great
That's a
one.
great
I was thinking Mars Attacks and No Concepts at Arrival and Annihilation. Oh man, those are so good.
Oh, fuck. Ah, man. Annihilation, dude. That
That-
movie annihilated me.
That crumping alien at the end.
Ah. Yeah. All right. That might actually beat out Independence Day. But I just really love that speech that the president gives. It's so inspiring. And then when they're fighting against the fucking aliens and that drunk guy is the one who actually
Yeah.
Oh man.
And then
And that dude that plays the president is so good.
That's
Hell
what's his
yeah.
face? It's
He's a great
yeah.
actor.
Oh god.
He was in all those movies. He's been in
He was,
so many movies.
Casper's dad. Remember
I
that?
know this guy. It's Bill Pullman. Yeah, I just
There you
saw.
go.
Was that Bill Pullman?
Yeah, he's the president. I just watched Lost Highway recently. David Lynch, wild movie. If you like Lynch, check out Lost Highway. It is an Ouroboros of a movie.
All right.
Roger Hernandez says only alien movie I've seen is Romulus. That was good.
Are you saying Alien in the franchise, or just that's the only movie you see with an alien in it? Because that's impressive.
Missed one every time. E.T., forget it.
Who?
Ethan Tanner?
From Mission Impossible?
Is that his name?
Ethan something.
Ethan. It's Ethan Hunt, I think.
Yes. Brother of Michael.
Even Ethan Hunt, you say that a certain way. I
Sounds
feel
it
like.
sounds dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nasty.
Cale, why don't you take us away with the numbers there?
All right. So we've got Rami Darwish coming in with 17. Hayden's Hideout with 16. Jonathan Chow says 16. Marowak Escuro evolves and says 15. John B says 18. Near, not too far away, says 16 for the stack. Mr. Funiverse says 13. Roboter says, all right, April Sean stack, gotta go with 14. Sean Ali says 15. Perennial winner, James Jones, late in the game, says 15. Entertain Me says 12. Shalom Warburg says 15. Stoops says 14. Joe says 19. Roger Hernandez says 16. No Concept says 13. CW Gordon says, oh, damn, 14 then. Omni Mary Amen says 9. Cole says 11. Joseph Wolf says 11. Mike Hanks says 13. 13. Ooh, what happened? There we go. 13.
Yeah, I think. Yep. You gotta scroll down.
And Trojan Magnum PI says 21. And Ted H says 27.
That's a good name. They got a chortle out of me.
Hey, Ted H, and really everybody who showed up, who's a fan of this show, who enjoys this channel, that showed up last night when I was on the Near Mint Condition channel. You guys are amazing. You don't know this, but when you do that, we hear about it. Like after that show, the comment I got, and it's not the first time I've been told this, but Omar's like, man, every time you or Tyler come on, your fan, like your listeners really like show up, and people seem to like you guys on the show.
I believe the term is we have shooters.
We do.
I think Cale went the other direction with that one.
All right.
Anyway, I just want to say thank you guys who really support us and show up for us wherever we are. But let's get into the stacks. So we've got the 6 we did for the show. Justice League Unlimited, number 6.
Look at you. Are those bagged and boarded?
Yes, the ones that are bagged and boarded means I read them.
Sexy.
I'm trying to be better about that. Thank you, Tyler. This issue is, in a vacuum, this issue is really good. But I don't like where the story is going. I don't know if I want to spoil like what the.
Nope.
Cool.
Not for me. I'm making the call. It's literally next up. So.
No problem at all. Have you read the issue 1
Grodd
though,
stuff?
Yeah.
All
right, so you know what I'm talking about. The secret of what Grodd is doing is
okay.
I don't like. But
okay.
Yeah. Ultimate Black Panther 15, back on track. I really enjoyed this issue.
Interesting. Oh. I'm still reading it. I'm 3 issues behind, but I'm still reading it. I got up to the point where the vibranium became manifest.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the first one. Well, no, it's not the first one in a while, but I really like this issue, and I have a feeling we have good things to come. Out of Alcatraz number 2, just as good as the first one. These boys are cooking. That's Christopher Cantwell, Tyler Crook.
Didn't that come out last week?
No.
Or am I thinking? I must be confusing previews.
I must be talked about it last week in a calendar. Yeah.
Okay, that must be it. My bad.
Medieval Spawn number 1. You know I was going to do it regardless of the poll, so I had to buy it.
And
it's very fine.
Great. Yep. Tremendous.
Rory McConville did very fine work.
It is a book that you read.
Yes, that is all I can say about that. Now,
wait, one question.
Yeah.
Is there a news segment?
No.
Okay,
no.
There's no play on it. All right, good.
No. Not yet. This, though, Superman 25, holy shit. Not for the show, maybe my pick of the week. This was such a good comic, such an amazing issue of Superman. One of my favorite single issues of Superman that they've done. And boy, oh boy, are there some developments.
Williamson put his whole Josh Hushy in it. Ooh,
Not only him, man, but the art side. Eddie Barrows, Dan Mora, and I'm forgetting one person, but excellent stuff. Assorted Crisis Events number 2. X-Force 10/300. Deadpool Wolverine number 4, still on that. G.I. Joe number 6. Green Lantern 22. Monstrous 57.
You fucking
Go
cuck.
ahead. Go ahead. And Power Fantasy number 8.
Oh, good cover.
Yeah. That's it.
I think that's 18.
It sure is.
All right, let's see. John B. Oh, Sloop John B.
Hey,
Got it
John
with
B.
18. We also have. I think that's it. I think John B's the only person that got it.
Everyone was around
Good
that
for you.
vicinity, but he's still only get it. Cool.
Yeah, wow.
Awesome. Oh my God. Roger Hernandez said, "My real name is Josh." I ain't like that either. The Josh.
Joshushi.
Yeah. But
That's for you.
if your real name is Josh, like, do you work for the WWE? Like, why would you have a completely regular name as your alias name?
You don't got a
online?
burner somewhere, Sean?
No, not
Oh,
Roger Hernandez. Like,
I got
you know,
burners.
some other, you know, like a PSN type name.
Okay.
You have burners that are regular names, like Terry.
No comment.
It's Terry.
It's I don't have
Terry.
burners that I reply
Terry.
guy with posting emojis of dogs barking whenever there's a butt pic on Twitter.
Terry Goldman.
It's Derek Brownstone, okay?
Oh my God, dude. Hey, random question, but just like a couple minutes. Either of you ever been catfished?
No, but I wrote it's actually on the Patreon. I wrote a script for It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia that was about catfishing, where Dennis's catfish character was Derek Brownstone. This is the name I keep.
Oh, I see.
So this has direct references to catfishing.
Unreal.
No. I don't think so.
You were
like
in the WoW sphere, Sean, so you had some risk there.
I knew a person who claimed to be a girl that no one ever discovered evidence of that at all. And that person definitely did try to put the moves on some people I used to play with, and some of them took the bait, and some of them didn't, and I did not.
We should do an episode of the podcast in VR chat one day.
Oh God.
Where people could join in. Actually, could I host an episode can I host a live stream in VR chat?
I mean, we could do that in Zoom. It wouldn't have to be VR.
No,
Why would you want that?
Everyone needs an avatar.
Oh, I see, like a Second Life thing.
Oh yeah,
Oh
you can get some. I once saw a snake with big old titties as an avatar. And like, you could just make whatever you want. Sorry, it's an episode today, guys. Sorry.
Hey, I verified mine. I had a crush, and I went to meet with her. I got
like Social Security, please.
my freaking parents drove me to meet a crush,
bro.
From WoW.
In high school, I met a girl on MySpace, and I went out on a date with her. And my parents were like, "All right, have fun." They didn't know. Actually, no, I took the bus. I didn't tell them. And then I get there, and she's there with her dad, and her dad went to the movies with us. And I never talked to her after that. I was like, that's weird. He like sat behind us too. We were seeing Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull too. So not even a good movie.
Yeah, I've been there. I grew up religious. I've been there.
That's rough. Oh my God.
CW Gordon says VTuber Tyler isn't real. He can't hurt you yet. CW Gordon, I will have you know that I did create a VTuber avatar that I was going to debut as a bit, but couldn't get it to work correctly because of machine specifications on here. So it exists, but it's not ready yet. Yet.
Cole said, "Insane pals lore." The thing is, Cole, that all the stories we alluded to go much deeper on palling around.
I feel like we've told just about all of these stories on Palling Around.
100%.
Mostly because all we do now is this show, so we don't have any more stories to make.
That's true.
Oh man, you guys have been great tonight. It's fun that we can talk comics, we can do that, but we can also just, talk some shit and have a good time. Near says that palling around episode was wild. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. We got to do another unhinged episode of that.
Once we send Marco to the Lazarus pits, I think we can do it.
The
We can't
Lazarus
send
pits.
Mark. Yeah, we can't send him there.
Dude, send him to the fucking front lawn where Bug Wars takes place in. Miniaturize him a little, and he'll just fucking frolic with those women that were in there.
Oh yeah.
Those bug women.
I mean, I'll do that too. I'll join him. Not like that. But never mind. Can we have the show?
He's been too happy lately. Let's
Throw him a
let's do
speed
that.
bump.
All right, guys, it has been a fun time with you. We are going to get out of here. Hit the like button on your way out. Make sure you come hang out with us on Saturday at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. If you enjoy the vibes tonight, you can anticipate a lot more of this whenever we're live because this is all we know how to do. And then, of course, as a reminder, Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, JSA Book Club. Make sure you guys show up for that. It's going to be a great time. I'm excited. I'm sure the guys are excited. Bring your excitement too. We will see you Saturday.